This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain adult language, violence, and sexual themes, as well as shocking revelations. Viewer discretion is advised. Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is Freakshow. It was written by Kevin Ross and Todd Woods, and it's part of a collection entitled Tales from the Miskatonic Valley. I am tonight's keeper of arcane lore, and this is a one-shot. This is also a bit of an experiment, as I intend on running this at Necronomicon 2024. So if you are attending, don't listen to this. It's an experiment because when I last ran it 8 years ago, it took about 10 hours. But for the con, I need to reduce it to 4 hours. So I apologize in advance for cutting any interesting subplots. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. On Sunday, July 10th, 1927, the middle of summer, around noon, you received a message from Ted Hewitt, the president of the Arcane Society. He's asked you to a private 2 o'clock meeting in the back room of the Corbin Library, your usual meeting place. When you cross through the stacks to the door and step inside, you are surprised to see, in addition to Ted in his wheelchair, 2 identical old women, their hair long and straight, dressed in the same outfit, the Gambrelli sisters. Of the many strange and mysterious things the town of Arkham has to offer, they are among the very few that seem to be legitimate, often finishing each other's thoughts and performing more like a single person than a duo. Ted says to you, gentlemen, please come inside. You remember the Gambrelli sisters, Agatha and Agnes, and they sort of give you a little nod. Right. They've come to me because something has been disturbing them. Now, you know, in the past, we consider them somehow active telepathic psychics that seem to occasionally have premonitions. And we're willing to accept this because they've only come to us a few times over the years. They're not seeking any kind of recognition or fame. They're usually pretty reclusive. They've never been married. They've lived together their whole lives. Ladies, why don't you explain? Now, when the women speak, it's very interesting because they do finish each other's sentences. So the sentences seem to come from 2 of them, one part of the sentence and the other. They say, "We have not been able to sleep soundly for the last 2 nights because of the noises and the visions," says the other one. "Instead of rest, we see things," the other one says, "and hear them. Things we don't understand, like a puzzle. I am not myself, nor am I, but we are one," they say together. "We wonder at strangeness, at things beyond anything we have ever seen before, strange colors and patterns, and the bleeding of some horrible noise, some horrible cacophony. Frightening faces in the dark glare at us with blinking eyes. It's too hot, like my head is in the desert. The sounds are too loud, like my head is in a box. Confusion and exposure to things I cannot understand, like a book in a foreign language, or a modern surrealist artwork by Alberto Giacometti. Frighteningly strange. I am helpless and distressed. No one is helping me. So I scream for help and scream and scream. So we have already started a bit of an investigation, and we've got a few of the other members out doing some research. I wanted to have, Freddie take a look at the astrological charts and see if there's any weird phenomena going on right now. So far, they've come up with nothing. I had Lorraine, our library girl. She's been looking into folklore and stuff like that, and she can't seem to find anything that corresponds. And we were, quite frankly, at a loss until just before noon when I contacted you. The only thing that we've come up with is the only thing that seems to have happened in the last 2 days is that the circus has come to town, Nichols Carnival.
Interesting. Those were some rather grotesque descriptions. Games, fun, prizes. Nichols Carnival. From across the continent and around the world. Gorgo the Wild Ape. The Juggling Libertini Brothers. Daffy Clowns featuring Bully the Clown Dog. Come to the Midway for games, food, and fun. Visit the Sideshow tent for a laugh and a cheer. McKelly the Fierce. Gates open at 4 o'clock, ring show at 7 o'clock. Have the time of your life. The Fabulous Farley Steeds, Nambuto the Watusi Giant, O'Dowd's World of Wonders, Freaks of Nature, See the Horror, The Snake Man, The Fish Boy, The Werewolf, and more. 3 big shows. Arkham, July 8th through 10th, off Peabody Avenue near the Velman Farm. Come early, stay late.
So tonight is their last show before they move on. And it might be nothing. It might be a waste of time, but we're willing to fund you if you all want to go to the carnival tonight.
You don't have to ring my arm. I'd be happy to go.
Could be an evening of fun. Perhaps we'll be able to shed a light on these visions that the ladies are having.
Ted, do you think it'd be wise for us to go early, poke our nose around, see what we can find?
Well, you've got about an hour and a half before they open. Not sure that they would let you in before that. And perhaps, it is a carnival. There's going to be other people from Arkham there. You'll probably see people you know. Best maybe just to look like people in the crowd. But feel free to snoop around all you want once you're there.
I can't help myself.
Maybe it's some form of telepathic interference with one of the people at the carnival.
Performer, yes.
Yeah. Like I say, it might have nothing to do with the carnival at all.
Yeah.
It might be something else that we just haven't picked up on yet. Maybe it's nothing at all, but the ladies are quite convinced that it's something.
Well, just out of curiosity, ladies, when you talk about the horrible noises, the calliope sound the carnival often has, do you sense any kind of possibly distorted version of that, or does that sort of figure into it? Do you know that steam organ noise?
Oh, of course. We've heard calliopes.
Calliope, sorry, yeah.
It's as if we're processing the information through a mind that's not our own. So everything seems strange. Colors and shapes and faces, everything seems bizarre. I don't think I don't know how to describe the sound. It's like hearing something you've never heard before.
Many carnivals have a great deal of people at them. There could be a cacophony of different sounds. if nothing else, the words about the head in the box particularly sound like a magic trick or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Henry, have you heard in any of the police reports or anything like that, if you've seen anything about any issues happening at the circus or anything
Well,
besides the usual pickpockets and such?
Yeah, we've gathered together the information we can. We haven't actually heard any serious things. Maybe a few, uh, you know, incidents of roughhousing. You know how boys can get. If especially if the Kingstown people come up this way, they could be a rowdy bunch. But no,
and
nothing official.
yeah, carnies, they can be kind of a problem the same way that when sailors come to town. But I'm sure.
Well, they're
I'm
a
sure
dying breed.
right.
Carnies are not. Carnivals are not quite the entertainment that people used to get out of them. But the Nichols carnivals come around every year or so.
This is my
They're not unfamiliar to us.
yeah. I haven't been before. It's just say a nice carnival, a one that a lot of people go to. It's rather like chaotic and, for lack of
Yeah.
a better term, uncivilized.
Well, there certainly are strange things, but they're all there to attract you to come and see. They probably have well, it says right there they have wild animals and things. But
Well,
yeah, here's a stipend. You guys can, I'm not sure how much it costs, probably 10 cents to get in.
well, let's go. I think we should just immerse ourselves into the sights and sounds. That might be a good way to
Agreed.
start.
Yeah.
Call it a night out.
Yeah.
So after leaving, is there anything you'd like to do to prepare before you go? I assume comfortable clothes.
No.
Because it is summer and it is warm. And it's probably a little humid because of this is Massachusetts.
Does it look like it's going to rain?
No,
No. Okay.
no, clear skies.
Well, just in case, perhaps Rowan I'm going to go through my office and see if I can find a small flashlight to bring along.
Yeah, that
Always
was
a good idea.
completely reasonable. All right, so you drive out to the carnival. And on the way, of course, you're seeing banners that they've put up on the sides of the road. And you're not alone. There are other people going to the carnival. A lot of teens with their girlfriends and families and children that are all going there. It's brightly lit. Of course, we do have electricity. So one of the big boons to carnivals back then was that they had electricity and they could have flashing lights and stuff like that going on all over the place. So it's quite a pretty picturesque thing out in the country. It's out in the one of the farmers' fields, who he's rented out to them to use. And you drive up and you park your car, and there's quite a few other cars that are parked there as well. And you head up to the front. It's about 4 o'clock as you've gotten there. You get a ticket at the front booth, and you step inside. And this is the basic layout of the carnival.
Ooh.
So you're coming in from the right-hand side, where the big E is for entrance. The T is for the ticket booths. And anything with the big E is an entrance. Anything with the upside down E is an exit. And anything with the double dots is employees only. But you can see where doors and things are located. There is the sideshow to your right. There is the midway to your left, where there are games and people, throwing rings onto bottles and throwing baseballs trying to knock over milk cans. And then it looks like there's a big tent in the middle where the ring show will be. There's a food area over towards the side. And there's concessions. That's the food area. There's restrooms. There's the menagerie where you are able to look at the animals and things that are in the show, the horses, the ape, the lion, and then there's O'Dowd's World of Wonders in the corner. So you're walking through the front gate, and what do you do?
I would assume we want to split up and maximize our time before the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like we're in tremendous danger. I guess we could just split up, sure.
No, and there's
Wander around.
people all over the place.
Yeah, all right.
None of you are scared of clowns, are you?
Well,
I don't want to gamble with them, and I don't want to drink
Right.
with them. But other than that,
I don't think that we've developed all of the scary things with clowns in them. So
I do have a patient that brings it up occasionally that their great fear is to be murdered by a clown with an axe, but
very sensible failure to have.
Rowan, I would assume you're probably best equipped to go look at the psychic.
I would be happy to. I should warn you guys, watch out for those midway games. You know, they're very much constructed to just entice you just far enough to keep putting your money down, but and give you just a little taste of success. But
I look at Rowan and then I go look over at the games and start to appraise the prizes the games have.
okay. The games are most of the things that you would expect, the ring toss and so forth. In general, do an intelligence roll.
There's a 93 over 75.
Okay. They all seem quite legitimate. It's just a matter of if you can get the baseball to hit the pins in the right way, it'll knock them down. You don't notice that it's a little more difficult than you'd expect, tossing the ring. And the toys that they're giving away are probably inexpensively made, but guys are still, knocking stuff down and getting their girlfriend a teddy bear and stuff like that. So it's all fun, and it's all, for pennies is all that it's costing. How about the rest of you?
so yeah, I'll head to the psychic if
Okay.
anyone wants to come.
I think
Yeah, you
that
know what? How about he do a reading for you, and I'll just watch him and see what kind of gets into. That sounds fun.
Okay.
I think
So Christopher and Rowan, you're heading over towards the psychic. Dr. Enoch and Henry, what are you up to?
I
I
was
figured I'd
thinking.
go to this. Oh, go ahead.
I was thinking that I would go to the sideshow, see if there's any medical explanations for what's going on over there.
I
You wanna go
was
with him,
thinking the same, but maybe just in interest of time, maybe I'll travel to the World of Wonders instead, taking a show there.
Okay, well, let's at the sideshow, there is an outdoor stage and there is a lot of hullabaloo, which is they show you a little bit of the show that's going on there. They've got a juggler that stands there, and you can go inside. And what you're pretty sure is that that what goes on in the sideshow are little acts. There's a magician. There's somebody who pretends to read minds. There's a few dancing girls, and so forth. But nothing really that unusual, and none of it really that good. You have to pay a penny to get inside, and then you're kind of like, it's just kind of wasting my time. Let's see. Who was going to the psychic?
Oh,
That was Chris and
Christopher.
Rowan. So Christopher and Rowan, you go to the psychic, and as you have to wait in line. You can hear him inside reading people's fortunes. He has a thick Russian-sounding accent, and as the people ahead of you come back out again, you hear his voice say, "Please, the next persons, come within, and I shall read your fortune. I know all things for my mystical power." And he goes on and on like this. You step inside, and Christopher, I'd like you to do a spot hidden as you step inside.
41, which is maybe not a... No, unfortunately I missed. Although maybe I'll spend some luck if it seems really worth it.
How much luck would you have to spend?
6.
That's too much.
Too much? Okay.
Yeah. So Rowan goes in first, and please have a seat, and I shall read your fortune. And you have a friend. Very good. And he stops and he looks at you and he goes, "Christopher?"
Oh, good heavens.
Oh.
Oh,
And
How's
you
it-
suddenly realize that Alejandro the Great is actually Chuck Baranski from the carnival that you used to work at.
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were here."
Just having fun. Don't lose character on my account, but I'm happy to chat with you. Go on.
Oh well.
Stay in character. It's okay.
I was hoping you could give me some tips about the poker game next Friday, but I'm starting to lose a bit of confidence. There.
Well, it's all to make a living. I mean, I don't even have this accent. I make it up. So he looks at you for a moment, Rowan, and then he turns back to Chris and says, "So honestly, how have you been doing?"
Well,
What are
I
you
got
up
this.
to?
I got this gig working at the university now. I'm doing folklore research. It's a new field. It's all about what people do to be, a culture and all this stuff. It's
Oh,
highfalutin and big words, but you know what? It's paying the bills.
well, yeah. I mean, currently this is paying my bills. At least I'm able to, take the winter off.
Yeah, and you do a good Russian accent. You do. Like I've always liked your Russian accent.
Thanks.
You sell me
Thanks.
every time. That's great. And you even know some Russian words now, right? Those you learned from those sailors. You can throw in occasionally.
Yeah, most of it's just gibberish, but
Yeah, but
who's
enough.
going to know around here? Your friend, I mean, you didn't really think I could tell the future or anything.
I'm afraid I am a skeptic at heart, so but I'm happy to be part of the fun. While we have you here before the next come in, perhaps I'll ask you quickly, have you noticed anything weird going on around the carnival?
Weird things around a carnival?
Yeah, well, weirder than the usual, I guess I should say.
Not particularly. Most of these people are pretty nice. Nichols, the guy who runs the place, he seems to be a decent sort. I mean, it's a circus. He's, using us all to gain, but he puts on himself a pretty good show at the ring show.
Oh,
And he takes care of us. He pays us pretty well.
Yeah. Is Nichols trying any new acts or shows, something experimental maybe?
No, not really. Most of them have been with him for a while, but they don't all work for him. I mean, some of them work, for like O'Dowd runs the World of Wonders, and that's his thing. He's just kind of renting space in the circus, and then some of the concessions are the same way. They're just food people that come and join us. But yeah, for the most part, everybody gets along pretty well. You can come by and see us maybe tomorrow. I mean, we're not here, but in the middle of the night, they're going to pack all of this up and move it to Bolton. So we'll be in Bolton. That's not that far, a few more miles over. But if you come, I can vouch for you and let you in. You can meet some of the people.
Sure. That'd be fun. I'd like to see how the art is going.
Cool.
No
and then we can get to know each other. There's rowdies everywhere. There's people who are rowdy, but we've got the roustabouts. They take care of that sort of stuff. The roustabouts are run by Brad Rayburn, big burly man. So, they think twice before they're going to mess with him and his guys. And it's usually, teens that get out of hand or treat their girlfriends badly and, that sort of thing. But no, nothing really weird.
Are you guys going to have like one of those late night candlelit dinners after the wrap up or anything like that?
Yeah, as soon as they close, then we all get in our wagons and we head over to Bolton, and then we set up our camp and we just go to sleep. We might over there, but they got to take all of this down.
Right. Yeah. There's no time for
they'll transport it. And then we'll have all day tomorrow because they don't open the show until 4 p.m. So, if you show up early, we can hang out together.
That would be great. Would you like some vodka?
I mean, I wouldn't mind it.
Okay.
Vodka?
Vodka, yeah.
You better get back in character. There's plenty of folks waiting.
All right. Well, it's so nice to see you.
Here, I'll do you a favor and I'll mess up his hair a little bit and walk.
Give him the terrible, horrible fate liners for leaving, so he can look scared.
Don't worry, it will only happen to you if you disobey the cards.
Oh God! Oh God! Oh no!
It's okay. We'll leave. It's all right. Just stop looking at other women. That's all you have to do.
And as
nothing bad will happen to him.
He'll look panically at the crowd and say, "He sees all."
Okay, so let's see, Arthur, what were you doing?
I'm off kind of wandering among like the different game booths.
Okay.
And
you probably see Chris and Rowan coming out of the psychic's tent.
Mm-hmm. I'll probably listen in on a few conversations, then join up for them to see if anyone's talking about anything I'm interested in.
Okay, do a listen roll.
That is a hard success.
Okay. You hear a voice in the crowd that sounds a bit familiar. And you're looking around to see if you can see where it's coming from. And you notice that one of the I guess they're the roustabouts, one of the fellows that works there is talking to a rather studious looking man in a brown suit with a suitcase, not a suitcase, like a briefcase. And you're pretty sure that the person is, the person who's talking is Professor Leonard Lugash from the university. He's a biologist. You think that he's asking where he can find the Mr. Nichols, Theodore Nichols.
I'll probably like politely sneak up on him and then just, tap him on the shoulder or get his attention.
Okay.
And
you can hear just as you're walking up there, the roustabout sort of point towards the back of the carnival. And as you come up and tap him on the shoulder, you tap, I forgot his name again, Professor Lugash on the shoulder, he visibly jumps and clutches that briefcase and turns quickly around.
Don't worry,
And-
Professor. It's just me.
Arthur Prescott, right?
Yes. And Professor Lugash, right?
That's correct. Write any good books lately?
Well, other people might think they're good, but authors always hate their own work. slowly-
Enjoying the carnival?
Well, just got here, but I hope to. Some of my friends just left the psychic's tent. Let's hope they didn't get any poor fortune.
Well, enjoy yourself, have fun. And he just sort of walks away from you.
They probably just wonder if he's just there to look at the freaks of nature.
You could do a psychology roll.
Yeah, I'll do that. 2635.
Yeah, he seemed nervous about something. Rowan, as you are walking towards Arthur, who you see standing over there, you see him speaking to Dr. Lugash from the university, and Lugash walks away rather abruptly. You can also do a psychology roll, although you're doing it in passing as he's
Okay.
walking away.
It is a regular success.
Okay. He looks like a man who isn't there for the carnival.
He's got some
You
business here. Is
he
a briefcase he's holding?
Yeah, it looks like a briefcase. It's a light brown leather briefcase. And off he goes into the crowd.
Arthur. Seemed a rather quick exchange.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know him that well. Not really my department, but it's kind of left abruptly. I don't think I said anything to scare him away. I kept my comment regarding him here to study the people at the circus to myself, so.
Just watch him as he walks there. He looks straight forward. Everyone else looks all around them at the different sounds and sights around. He's certainly single-minded about something.
No, makes me
As you're
wonder what.
watching, you can see that he's heading up towards the personnel area.
Oh,
Why
he's not here for the circus.
No, I don't think so.
Let's see. I'm Dr. Enoch. You've been somewhat bored with the sideshow and you've wandered back out, and you see some of them standing over kind of on the side of the tent near the midway. And as you're all sort of gathering together, you all have noticed that Henry, I'm just going to impose this. Henry is coming out of the restroom on the south and then turning towards O'Dowd's World of Wonders. You can see him from the back. You can also see that there is a man on the stage over there who is barking out at the crowd. A small crowd of people are gathering around. What do you guys want to do?
Well done.
Is Dr. Lugash, is he known among us as being a bit of an oddball or anything like that?
Well, I mean, you know him from the university. He doesn't seem to be an oddball. He's in the biology department. The most you've seen him at lunchtime in the cafeteria and things like that. Sometimes he's talking to other colleagues in various departments. He seems to be a fairly decent professor, of a serious teacher of biology. You would say that he's a good scientist because he does research and he sticks with it. He's not flighty or anything like that.
So if anything, we know him as a very serious researcher, and so
Yeah.
his presence here is actually unusual in that respect.
Yeah, and let alone how brusque he was with dear Arthur.
Well, we have a guy who's very good at tailing people in our group. Maybe we should sick him on.
Maybe we're looking at it the wrong way. There could be a almost personal issue, like maybe he lost something here or is trying to reclaim it, or
Yeah, but
could be just stressed about that.
Well, I know, but we got to.
Yeah. You can see that Henry has stopped in the crowd listening to the Barker by O'Dowd's World of Wonders. You guys going to wander in that direction?
Yeah. Perhaps we'll just generally.
I think so.
Well, we got to keep ourselves open to all kinds of possibilities while we're trying to figure out what's going on here.
It's all possible too, perhaps, that the zoo maybe the carnival maybe contacted him for something to do with the sideshow or something like that.
I don't think they would do that normally. Sort of like, I mean, they might get a vet in for the horses or something, but they wouldn't necessarily call in an academic. Oh, so by the way, we do have an open invite to go and meet some people at tomorrow's setup if you want to meet people that work here. I mean, outside of the actual performative aspects. But I mean, we have such a good gumshoe in Mr. Jones. If we're at all, is anything odd about this guy? Why not put him what he does best? Well, anyways, let's see what's going on with this Barker for the O'Dowd's thing. So talk about it.
Okay, so you get over to this O'Dowd's World of Wonders. It's a smaller tent. You can see that it's a separate thing from the carnival, that it's obviously that they are their own unit and they move with the carnival and they're given a place to set this all up. The fellow who is on the podium, or on the stage, you assume is O'Dowd. And he starts by telling you that everyone calls him Dots. And they call him Dots because he's got serious freckles all over his face. He's got a big smile. He's got a very dynamic way of speaking. And he tells you that we have gathered from all over the world strange oddities and unusual things for you to see. There's the bearded lady, a woman who has grown a full beard, even though she's a woman. There's the wolf man, who seems to grow hair on his entire body. His mother was attacked by a wolf when he was a child, when he was still within the womb. There's Heavy Effie, who is the largest woman that has ever been. And come and see them all, the Snake Man and the Horror from the South Pacific. So he goes on talking, and people in the crowd are asking him things, and he's answering them. And, he's like, it just costs an additional 25 cents to get inside. And he's like, now, I wouldn't recommend the children. The children shouldn't come in. And you ladies, you be discreet, because you might see things that will, cause you to faint. These are truly wonders. And of course, there's men thinking they're going to get to see naked women too. So, do you want to do anything before are you going to go in?
How can I resist?
I think
That was my plan. Have I noticed
Yeah.
these guys have caught
Yeah,
up to
you've
me?
noticed that they've come up behind you. As
And-
usual, Arthur sneaks up behind you and taps you on the shoulder.
Gonna get yourself killed one day.
Hey guys, find anything
Hey.
interesting?
Well, a couple of things. We got an invite to basically meet some of the carnies and stuff tomorrow, if you want to hang out with them.
Turns
Oh,
out
great.
Chris goes a ways back with Alejandro, the great and powerful.
He's a good old friend, and he's going to give us an open invite if we want to go and meet people.
Was he a real
Great.
psychic?
No,
No.
but his accent is gorgeous. It's just good. He can woo you out of your DACA or whatever you call those places. There is a very suspicious behavior from one of our esteemed academics, though. What's his name?
Lou
Lou Gush.
Gash.
yeah,
Lou Gash.
biologist.
I mean, he's not the kind of guy who would normally come here, and Rowan thinks he's being very focused. So I don't know, Henry, if you might want to sort of see if he's doing something. If he's up to
Which
anything.
one is he? Point him out to me.
You know what? We saw him a minute ago going that way. I don't know if we can still pull him out of the crowd here.
He's gone
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah,
Is this somebody I'm familiar with?
you might have seen him at our meetings once in a while, but you know,
He doesn't. He's not a member of the Arcane Society.
no, just the
I mean, if we don't see him again tonight, we can, find a picture of him in the yearbook. So
if the snake boy gets a cold, then and they can't call a doctor, maybe you do call a biologist.
All right.
So I'm not familiar with Dr. Lugash. I don't know him.
Probably. I mean, you can actually roll. What should we roll? Roll a luck roll.
Okay.
I mean, everybody in Arkham kind of knows everybody in Arkham.
I got a 17. My luck is 55.
Okay.
So I guess that's a hard success.
So yeah, maybe you've run across him a couple times before. Maybe you have a dossier on the man because of something that happened last year. But as far as you're concerned, the man is nobody.
Okay.
Just a professor at the university, like so
Yeah.
many others.
These guys are probably making a mountain out of a molehill. He's just here looking for
Okay.
somebody or something. And yeah.
We're all hyper
right.
alert.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go see the
Yeah, I
Wonders,
want to see the horror
shall
of the
we?
Pacific.
Wow.
I want to be
Nice.
scared.
I want to
Well,
see some
you know-
Phoenix.
Yeah. Is this a good use of all of our time, or should we continue to
Yeah.
explore?
I'm
Well,
gonna look
we all want to
around.
do this.
Yeah.
Quite a crowd around.
Let's
Yeah.
All right.
let's
So
go.
O'Dowd sort of ushers you through the flap into the tent. And the tent has been divided so that you all have to sort of crowd through a makeshift hallway, and each little thing is like vignettes. So as you pass through, you're seeing them. So the first thing that when the curtain opens, it startles everybody. And he says, introducing Redondo, the Fire Eater. And there's this man dressed in just sort of brown pants with bare chest. And he just hauls back. He's got like a stick with fire on it. And as he hauls back like this, a huge plume of flame shoots out over the crowd. The women jump back, the men, grab the women, and it's quite spectacular. He then proceeds to eat the fire the way fire eaters do and hold it in his hand, and puts on quite a spectacular show.
What do you think, Dr. Enoch? Would you advise?
I've never seen this before, and I would not suggest that you try that at home.
Yeah, if you've got science or something or intelligence, you can guess.
It's just cutting off the oxygen.
I mean, it's obviously some sort of some alcohol. of some sort.
Yeah.
That he's just spitting into the flames and it's causing this effect. It's spectacular, but it's it's just, hey, that's maybe worth your 25 cents so far.
Seems like a good show to me. This guy's fun.
Next, he moves you on to the bearded lady. He says, this is Lisa Meyer, and she is the bearded lady. And you all kind of realize that Lisa would be unattractive even without her facial hair. She's not a very good-looking woman. She's dressed, though, in a dress with flowers. And you get the impression from her that she's there and she's really kind of doesn't like the fact that everybody stares at her.
Oh.
But this is her job. She's not laughing or happy or anything like that. She's not particularly sad, but you get what I mean. She's not really emotionally into it. Moving on, you see a woman. She is extremely large, fat. She's lounging on a couch and she's eating bonbons, and she's in a dress that's just a little too small. It's a little too revealing. She's got a sweet face, but it's kind of, she's got food on the table, fried chicken and all of this stuff that she's just going on and eating. Somebody in the crowd, one of the men who's a little bit not so polite, makes some remark about her being a cow, and she comes right back at him and insults him highly. And you realize that if he can give it back as well as they can throw it at her, but you also get the impression she's not a happy person. She's here just because people want to gawk at her large weight. Moving on from there, you see Boris, the tiny Russian. He's dressed in a Russian costume. He's smoking a cigar and he's sitting on a stool. You're guessing that he couldn't be much more than 3.5 feet tall. And if the other ones didn't look happy, he makes them look happy. He is just sitting there with his cigar like this, and people are smirking at him, and he's just smirking back at them. And we'll say somebody says something to him, and a slew of foul language without any kind of accent comes out of his mouth. He sounds like he's got a Brooklyn accent. And some of the women are horrified, and but he's just kind of like, fuck off. So you move on, and O'Dowd says, I did warn you that this is an adult show. We move to the next area, and he says, this, my friends, I'll let you explore for a few moments. This is Nature's Mistakes. And the curtain opens, and it's like a separate little area. And in here, he has various stuffed animals, and the stuffed animals are mutations. They are sheep with 5 eyes, calves with 6 legs, and things that, if you are used to the country and farms, does happen every once in a while. It's just part of nature, but it's pretty disgusting. The other thing that he has is what possibly the most offensive thing that I've ever heard of is what they call pickled punks. They are babies that were stillborn and put in jars. usually with gross mutations and so forth. And they used to be extremely popular in these sorts of shows. But one of them, I would like you to do a sanity roll as you're looking at it, because it's a large jar, and what's in this jar looks like it was part child and part goat. And are there tentacles or something that's wrapped in there? There's too many eyes, and it's labeled Donnie Dunlack / Dunwich. And if you passed your sanity, just take 1 point, and if you fail, take 2. Or remove 2 points from your sanity. It's hideous.
Oh,
It's a rather obscene little critter.
dude, does it
You've
look
all-
real?
Yeah, you're not sure. You mentally, your mind wants to say it can't possibly be real.
Now I know sometimes at these shows they like cut things apart and sew them back together and pretend they're monstrosities, but I'd be really interested to see what you have to say about this Enoch. Does this look like that, or does it look like a natural mutation?
Right.
You don't see any place where it's stitched together. If it's created, then it's a really good creation.
It's floating in formaldehyde, is it?
Yeah, whatever
It
they
certainly
pickled it
stinks.
in.
Oof.
I've never seen anything like this, but it looks real, legitimate.
Nah, it can't be.
Are the eyes opened or closed?
The eyes are open.
They
It's
look-
more of a fetus than
So they're not developed eyes with an eye color or anything.
right.
How-
You're not even sure
Sure.
that there are lids.
How close? How close is it?
Oh, it's on a pedestal right in front of you. You could
What?
touch the glass if you
I'm-
wanted to.
I'm gonna touch the glass. I want to just tap on it.
He's getting an idea for a new book. I could tell
Yeah.
that look.
Okay.
It-
Do a spot hidden for me.
just imagine writing a book where this thing witnesses a murder. That is a 11 under 25, so a success.
Okay.
Hard
So
success.
you touch the glass, and when you do, nothing happens, but O'Dowd immediately is like, please, sir, don't touch the glass. If that falls over, you're going to have to pay for it. And I paid a good $500 for that.
Where do you get these monstrosities?
Oh, well, people bring them to us. People who sell their children for to put clothes on their backs.
Why would
Um,
you pay so much for something like this?
Because people like you come to see them. The stranger, the stranger, the more wondrous the object, the more people want to see it.
I can't fight you on that.
Is there?
And now let's move
Oh,
along. We've
okay.
got other shows to do. He moves you towards the side and he says, now, folks, I want to warn you, ladies, perhaps you'll want to leave early because these next 2 exhibits are pretty disturbing. Gentlemen, I won't charge you extra for this first one, but I am warning you. This is sanity shattering. This is the horror from the South Pacific. There are a few women who are like, well, I've seen enough. And he directs them over to the exit, and out they go. But most of the people still want to see it. So what he pulls the curtain back to reveal is a pit that's been dug in the ground. It's about 3 feet deep, and around it is a cage all the way around it. And inside of it is a man. He looks like he's maybe 5 feet tall. He's dressed in rags. His hair and facial hair is outgrown, and it's all wild and crazy. And he has painted on his face these white lines, like he just took his hands and went like this. And he snarls as you come forward, and he bares his teeth, and some of his teeth have been filed to points. And he leaps forward and grabs a hold of the bars and shakes them. Most of the people back away suddenly from seeing this. And O'Dowd walks around to the back, and while this thing is jumping back and forth and snarling at you and spitting, O'Dowd produces a live chicken from a box, and he goes over and he says, "Now, ladies and gentlemen, I did warn you." And he tosses the chicken into the cage, and the horror immediately chases it around the thing, grabs a hold of it, and then bites into its neck and tears it apart into pieces and just starts eating it. And the blood and the gore are coming down his neck. You can all do sanity rolls. And you're doing your sanity rolls mostly because you're pretty sure this is just some dude that is mentally ill or crazed, especially the psychologist.
Yeah, and I'd like to roll a psychology if possible to tell if this is an act, or if this is something, or if this person completely believes it. If they're, I want to even know if there is a person in there, really. It is it's an extreme success. It's a 10 out of 75.
Your assessment of this person is, one, it's not an act.
Oh dear.
That's a real chicken. He's really eating raw chicken and eating it like a monster. And the way he grunts and makes noise, you're not sure that he can speak, but you're pretty sure he once could speak. And you don't know if there's definitely signs of drugs or severe alkalosis or whatever you call it. This could be a homeless person that has been abducted. And I mean, he doesn't look like he's trying to get out. It looks like he's so mentally crazed that he doesn't know what is going on. He's definitely covered in dirt and filth and probably his own feces, and
this seems
disgusting.
Like someone who should be in the care of a sanitarium, not in the middle of a freak show.
You may have seen people in really bad conditions at the asylum when you visited.
I'm beginning to become a bit concerned about the legality of some of this. If we've seen quite a line of unhappy people, it seems some of them, like Evie or Effie, are forced into this thing with the cycle of depression where she'll keep eating. If they keep feeding her treats and she keeps eating because she's unhappy, then
Rowan, they're well paid. Don't worry. I don't know about this fellow here. I don't know what he's paid.
I highly suspect this fellow doesn't make a dime off this.
No, but everyone else here gets paid okay. This is a vocation. It's not something to be ashamed of.
It seems like virtual slavery to me. I don't.
Not always easy to find work.
I think especially in the unfortunate positions many of these people might be in, this could be their only option.
Yeah, you're not entirely sure this person is willingly.
Yeah, this guy.
This. Which has the effect on you by the way O'Dowd acts, where he pulls out a broom handle and he bangs on the cage to get the guy, to stop trying to break out. It's either a really good act or it's just sad and horrific and pathetic. But you're not entirely sure this is not what you would expect to see at a freak show. That doesn't mean that it's good. Maybe there needs to be some action taken against freak shows like this.
I believe so. These people should be receiving proper care for their maladies. There's one room after another is a diagnosis after diagnosis there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people suffering in this world, Rowan. We can't help them all.
I know.
So he moves you, he closes the curtain, he moves you to the next one, and you see the painted lady. She is a woman, actually physically rather attractive, but she is covered head to foot in tattoos. There may still be a few hardy women that are still with your group, but in the middle of this sort of exploitation of looking at her, O'Dowd is like, now, gentlemen, if you're willing to pay a little extra, you can come back around behind this curtain, and she will show you that she is in fact tattooed on every square inch of her body. And of course, there are some guys in the crowd that are like, yeah.
Are any of the tattoos, unusual, from a folklorist perspective?
I mean, you can do a spot hidden and look closer.
Okay. Nope. Oh, well. Too distracted, I guess.
I mean, the most you can see is that some of them look of fairly, well done. There's a lot of differences. So some of them look like they were done a long time ago, and some of them are fresher looking. But
are they all from the same kind of culture, maybe? Or are they kind of almost from around the world? Or?
There are all kinds of things, flowers and butterflies and snakes and vines, and it seems to be all over the place. There's an airplane. There's, it's like, yeah, it obviously becomes, she's done this to herself, obviously, over the years. Just keeps adding and adding and adding to it. Do any of you want to see the adult show?
Yep. It's purely professional.
I think I'll move along.
Yeah.
Someone should look, but that doesn't have to be me.
Yep.
I'll move along, but I'll pat Christopher on the back. Let's just say, all yours, buddy.
Okay.
Dr. Raycroft or
Doctor, from a medical standpoint, you probably can turn this down.
I think I'm in.
All right. Thank you, Doc. I don't want to feel totally alone in this.
I'm still ethically troubled by the whole thing, so I will pass.
All right.
Okay. So all I can say is that those of you who decided to look and paid the extra, she's pretty much tattooed everywhere. And nothing that unusual. I mean,
okay. Yeah.
It's kind of amusing, a little amusing, her choice of things, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then you come to the last exhibit, and he says, now, gentlemen, I do need to charge you an extra 10 cents for this one. This is possibly one of our more shocking acquisitions. We'll assume, though, that you pay the extra 10 cents.
Begrudgingly at this point.
Some of the guys are satisfied with seeing the
Head's paying for it.
They leave. Yeah, so you're not going to have to pay for it.
Is this when he shows us where he has tattoos?
Snake boy.
Actually, I forgot Snake Boy. You do see, we'll say one of them that you see is Snake Boy. It's just a guy that's got a painted, face with some snake things, and he's got a big old boa constrictor, which he plays with. But oh, it's a man-eating boa constrictor that somehow he has the mystical ability to keep from harming anyone.
The Wolf Man.
There's also the Wolf Man.
Take them all in.
Sorry.
The Wolf Man has the unusual medical condition that he grows hair out of all of his body. So his looks like he's got a beard over his whole face. Nothing unusual there.
No relation to the bearded lady, because otherwise maybe they could be a thing.
Well, maybe hormonally, but I'm not sure that you know enough about the way that all works. It's a medical curiosity, but of course, the idea that he was bitten by a werewolf or his mother was bitten by a werewolf is just kind of nonsense. So this last one, he opens up the curtain, and there is a very large wooden barrel-like tank. You'd almost guess that it was originally taken from beer manufacturing, because this it's just half of the barrel, but it's at least, maybe 6 or 7 feet across. It has chicken wire that goes all the way around it, like heavy duty chicken wire that's raised up, and it's filled with water. And O'Dowd takes his broomstick and he bangs it on the side of the tank, and you can see that the water moves a little bit. And he's like, "Come on, come out," like this. Nothing happens. So he goes around to the back, and through a sort of hole in the chicken wire, he takes that stick and he starts poking it into the water. And suddenly, with a splash, this, in the first instant, you would say creature. In the second, you would say a little boy with weird mutations. He seems to be covered in scales, and he moves forward in the tank towards where you are, and grabs the wire and looks up into your face. Medically, when you're looking at him, those scales are coming out of his skin, that those ears are more thin than anything else. And his hair, you're not sure what his hair is. It's almost seaweed-like. He's dripping wet. He looks up into your face, and you can tell quite clearly that he is both terrified and unable, to scream, but he is definitely making moves as if he wants to say something or cry out. You can see that his neck has what look like gill slits, and that he is having trouble breathing when he is out of the water the way he is right now. And O'Dowd is like, "Behold, the fish boy." His father was a fish and his mother was a human, and he is a strange, bizarre anomaly. And the fish boy is staying as far away from O'Dowd as he can, and eventually dives back under. And every time he does, and O'Dowd is still talking, O'Dowd pokes at the water with the stick, trying to get him to come back out again. I'd like you all to do sanity rolls, though I'm not sure that sanity is what you're feeling at the moment.
Pass.
Pass.
Yeah.
Extreme pass.
Got a 1.
Yeah, I'll see if you pass. you're horrified, but you're horrified for a different reason. This looks like a little boy. And, Dowd is obviously abusing him. You're not sure how that weird makeup job could even be accomplished. But at that point, O'Dowd, if you fail, just take 1 point. If you succeed, don't take any points. O'Dowd, then immediately it's like, that's the end of the show. Everybody out of the tent, and I have to start the next show. And he ushers you back out into the, onto you're coming out at the side of the main tent, the main ring tent. That show is later this evening. What are you guys doing?
Well, now that you've all seen that, you
Yeah.
must agree with what I'm saying, is that that's unconscionable.
Well, that's
it's
well,
cruel.
children don't have, the ability to volunteer to work for this kind of stuff.
No.
But I have to say, those gills were very, very convincing.
Did you see? It seemed like he couldn't breathe while he was in the air.
Yeah.
It was quite beautiful.
So, Tom, do we have any murder person stories as part of our collection of things that we know about?
Do an intelligence roll.
Yep.
You have some of the things that are often said about people from Innsmouth. That they're inbred, that their eyes are too big, that they develop their mouths get too wide. Of course, all of that is just hokum, right? And
Right.
It's just, but all of those weird stories, is this something? Is there something to be said for this? You're not sure.
Heard people talk about the Innsmouth look, but this is pretty damn serious. Doctor, do you think with an operations or something like that, that anything could be done for this child?
They would have to be extensive. I don't think that the child would survive
Oh
such
my
an
gosh.
extensive operation.
So it's more a matter of ensuring it has a comfortable life that isn't exploited. But what happened to its parents?
Well, maybe they were not understanding or cruel, or maybe they passed, or for whatever reason, he's come into the care of this O'Dowd monster and was being paraded about. The
Well,
carnival is something, the carnival is a grift. We all come here expecting to be grifted and we buy into it. And it's part of,
yeah.
it's something, it's a group delusion that we share and we participate in. But we've seen something now tonight that goes past that. I know we can't save everybody, but I do feel like this is ethically wrong.
No,
I was about ready to take O'Dowd's stick and start poking him and see what he thought of it.
The security for the carnival would drag you off, so you can't get into any fights.
Perhaps we should speak to Nichols, the actual carnival man, as O'Dowd is a separate contractor.
Hmm.
We'll see where he stands on this.
They just moved to a different show.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking would
Right.
happen. I think we should look into this O'Dowd character. Maybe we can find out more about him. Maybe he's got a record. Maybe there's something. Stories.
I have to get the taste of that place out of my mouth. I'm going to get a beer. Oh wait, no beer. I'm going to get a soda.
Might as well go for a soda.
Yeah, a little place back in Arkham where you can get a beer.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure they sell it here. We just have to find the right people.
Ooh, maybe not. They would not want to be raided and lose everything. But they probably will sell you drugs.
While I'm heading to get something to drink, I'm going to keep my eyes open for Professor Lugash.
Okay. Go ahead and do a spot hidden for me.
Okay. I failed.
Okay. Yeah, you don't
One of
see
my
the
best
professor
skills.
anywhere around. All right, so you guys are going to wander around a bit. You do, in fact, see the lion. Looks very fierce. You see Gorgo the ape, looks like a chimpanzee, fairly adult-sized chimpanzee, which in truth can be pretty dangerous. Do you stay for the evening show, for the ring show?
We're already here.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah.
Okay. The ring show consists of the dancing horses. And of course, you finally get to see Alexander Nichols, the ringmaster, the head of the thing. Rather striking looking middle-aged gentleman in a suit, a fancy suit with a top hat, and has a cane in one hand and a whip in the other one, which he cracks to get your attention. It's pretty much what you'd expect from a circus. There are some gentlemen that do acrobatics, and they fling themselves into the air, and there's jugglers. It's a pretty good show. Do you guys sit through the entire show? There's a lot of people.
It's quite a spectacle, and I do, but my mind keeps going back to what I saw in that tent, and between Donnie and the horror from the South Pacific and the fish boy, I'm troubled.
I'm gonna keep an eye out in the show, just in the crowd for our biologist friend.
Okay.
And I'm actually gonna leave at an appropriate moment and try to keep scouting out the whole area as much as I can. Kind of push the boundaries on the employee only stuff. Not in a mean way, but just to see what there is.
Okay. So Arthur, do a spot hidden.
That is a failure.
Okay. Yeah, you don't see him in the crowd. Henry, I assume then the rest of you are staying in there while Henry goes out. All right, Henry, you go out, and you're kind of wandering around the main tent on the outside. And at the moment, the lion tamer has got the lion in the middle of the ring, and he is taming it, and the people are oohing and awing, and he's doing the thing where he puts his head in the lion's mouth and all of that. But you've wandered around behind where the menagerie was, and the ringmaster and is no longer on the stage. He's in the back. You can see that O'Dowd's World of Wonders at this point is closed down, mostly because he figures during the ring show, people aren't going to want to come over and look at they're going to want to go to the ring show. You hear O'Dowd's voice coming from inside the main tent, and you're pretty sure he's talking to Nichols. They're backstage, but tents are not exactly walls, so you can hear them talking. And this is their conversation. Dots says, "Look, I'm telling you, we need to cancel our coastal shows and move farther inland to the west." And Nichols says, "We can't do that. We have to go where the crowds are, And we aren't going to draw that much from Rutlander Greenfield. Dot says, have you seen the newspaper? I think someone or something may be on our tracks. Nichols says, what do you mean? Dot says, he came from Gloucester, and now the guy who sold him to us, is dead. People are snooping around. Ted Nichols says, shit, Dots. What have you gotten us involved in? Dot says, it's a freak. How the hell was I supposed to know? Nichols says, you need to do something, and don't forget, I need to be reimbursed. You came to me begging for a loan, and until you pay it back, it's half mine, but I don't want it, and I don't want trouble. Dot says, it's my ticket to bigger things. Once I pay you off, I'm heading out, and I'm taking the World of Wonders with me. And at that point, their interrogator is interrupted by Nichols having to go back out on stage, back into the ring. But that is the conversation you hear. You don't know where Dots is. He's in there somewhere. But and the show ends, and you all end up back with one another. And at this point, people are starting to sort of usher people towards the exits, because they're going to have to pack up and move everything to Bolton. So we'll just say that you're on your way out, but you're all together again.
And I fill everybody in on the conversation I heard backstage.
Oh,
Newspaper.
Yeah.
We could maybe find that.
Yeah.
Do you think they made us as snooping around, or are they talking about somebody else?
They gotta be talking about something else. We haven't really tipped our hand too much.
No.
Especially not in front of Dots there.
Yeah, and you got the name of the person who was killed?
There wasn't a name. It's just the guy who sold him to us is dead.
Okay, so you should look for murders.
But he came from Gloucester. Gloucester?
How far away is that?
It's on the coast. So I don't know, 40 miles.
So we've got somebody from Gloucester, a horrific thing from Dunwich, and
yes, Donnie. And there's quite a possibility that for Donnie, he would have used the word it rather than he. But that certainly the South Pacific Horror and the Fish Boy both could very easily qualify as whatever exhibit he got from Gloucester.
Well, I mean, the sisters did describe part of their dream of someone screaming but who couldn't scream, and that poor young man would seem to be in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Christopher.
Now, the other stuff that they mentioned doesn't all fit, but I mean, if they got an impression, then it could be more than one thing.
Well, he's trapped in a barrel, which is like a box. The sounds, maybe the sounds of O'Dowd banging on the tank,
or the circus sounds coming through the water, so it sounds
through the water.
Different.
Must admit, the process of even possibly extricating this boy from there could be life-threatening to him. There seems to be at the forefront very little we can do.
I think I'm going to dawdle a little bit, gentlemen, head over to the restroom, see if I can see anybody hanging out, looking at O'Dowd's.
See if you can spy a professor friend.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye open for him, but I think he's the less interesting person. If Dots feels that someone's hanging around, snooping around, he said, maybe I can see them.
Keep your eyes open.
I'm afraid my curiosity is getting the better of me. I do want to see what this newspaper they're talking about is.
And Christopher, maybe you could check with your friend there, or should we wait till tomorrow?
Oh, we'll go tomorrow. We'll meet them during the day when they have some time off.
I think they're moving
Right now,
out to
right now everyone is
Cthulhu.
working on packing and going.
Hope that's
Tomorrow
not
they'll
too
be free.
late.
Yeah.
It's not far away. We can get there.
From
Yeah.
my folklore, do I know anything about a Dunlap family from Dunwich? Is that like a name known in folklore at all? Like they're not
No,
witches or
I mean,
something like that?
well, you do believe that there are stories of witches. There are a lot of stories of witches in New England. Of course, folklorically, you know that where modern Salem is now. Those of you who are watching the show, I could be getting this wrong, but as I recall, where most of the witch trials that took place, they actually took place in Beverly and Danvers.
Mhm.
But the whole area has been associated then with Salem.
Right.
But the legend is that certain witches, the real witches, the bad witches, escaped from Salem and moved either to Arkham or Dunwich.
Right. So it
So
could be.
they've got those reputations. However, they're just folklore.
Right.
Cotton Mather's influence didn't extend that far, so they were pretty much safe in those areas. If they were witches at all, they might have just been women who mixed herbs together for healing and got accused, or people who just got accused of being witches because their neighbors wanted their property.
Yeah.
So as you guys are leaving, and Henry has gone over towards the restrooms, I would like Rowan and Dr. Enoch and Arthur and Christopher to do spot hidden rolls.
Success, 38 under 45.
No.
Regular
Not for me.
success.
Okay. So Rowan and Christopher, you notice something and you immediately just sort of, you're in the back end of the crowd. Most people are going ahead of you. But for some reason, Rowan and Christopher, you notice this mainly because they're not leaving. These people aren't going. There are three gentlemen. They're not near you, but you do notice them, across the midway. And you probably point Dr. Enoch and Arthur in that direction.
Look over there.
There are three men, and they are dressed in full-body trench coats from the top to the bottom. They have on heavy hats that look very much like fishermen's hats. These definitely look like fishermen. And considering that it's at least 80 degrees and midsummer, and it's nighttime now, but it's still warm and humid, that's a hell of a thing to be wearing.
It must be suffocating.
They seem to be discussing something amongst themselves, and then they head towards the personnel area. However, they are stopped at least 2 times going in that direction by employees who are simply trying to usher people out of the carnival. So after a few moments, they seem frustrated, and then they comply. You can't hear what they've said or anything, but they look like people from a fishing village, but like fishing village in the middle of the rain, and it's not raining or anything.
Well,
you can't see their faces. They're too heavily cloaked up. But I will let you do a spot hidden.
Yeah. Another one? Okay.
Ooh,
Not so good on that one.
extreme.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, nice. Good. Yeah, I failed.
Yeah.
All right. I won't spend the luck then. Go for it.
Dr. Enoch got the extreme? Okay. That makes absolute sense. because Dr. Enoch, being a physician, tends to look at medical, physical parts of the body. And there's definitely a moment when one of them sort of, in frustration, does this and then sort of has points with the other ones towards the exit. And when he does, you are pretty sure that's a webbed hand.
Ooh.
I swear that was a webbed hand when he just made that motion. Could these be the snoopers?
Oh my God, yes, for what Henry said about there being people following, maybe. They don't look like they're from Arkham.
He says he wanted to avoid coastal cities. Well, if you want to avoid fishermen, that makes sense.
Could be the parents of the.
Well, gentlemen, if we're concerned about that young man's well-being, those people might be allies in this regard, unless we're worried about them.
Do they mean him well or do they mean him ill?
Well, if they're worried about the safety of the young boy, one would hope they mean him well.
Well, maybe they might have some insight on how to get him out of this predicament.
We want to talk to them, or do we want to just kind of maybe watch them?
I think we should engage them.
All right.
Now, you'll have to make some effort to catch up to them because they are moving outward and they weren't really close to you at the time. Okay. Their attire is what did it. So do a luck roll to see if you catch up with them.
That's the lowest luck in the party, or?
Oh, yeah, we'll make it. Yeah, do the lowest luck.
Oh, so who's that right now? I got 60 as well.
I have 30.
Okay, you're the man.
I passed with 27, so.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So you managed to catch up to them in the parking lot just as they're getting into their big black car. We'll say two of them have gotten in and the driver is gone around and he's about to get in. What do you do? Walk up to him?
Sure, I'll walk up to whoever looks like the most intelligent. I don't know if that's an easy way to tell by just looking at them. Whoever looks the most with it.
Just the driver is who we got.
Yeah, the driver.
Probably no shoulder tapping.
And I'll try to make eye contact and say, gentlemen, could we have a moment of your time?
Who are you?
We're people who attended the show here, and we saw things that we were very unhappy about, and we feel perhaps we might have a shared concern.
We noticed you don't look like you're from around here.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? And there's a bit of a glimpse that you get. He's trying very hard that you don't get a straight look at him. His hat casts a deep shadow over his face, but in that moment that he sort of reacts to your saying that, you can definitely see that his mouth is maybe a little too wide. You mentioned the Innsmouth look. Definitely look like not pretty people.
Do they look the same as the boy, or does he look very different?
No, they don't look like the boy. They look like people, but they look like people with well, you can only see the one. They seem like, I don't know, you've seen maybe one or two of the Innsmouth people. The accusation being is that they're all inbred, and all of the inbreeding over time has perhaps produced things like webbed fingers.
Right.
And they're exceedingly ugly. But
you folks were looking.
He is not friendly.
Yeah.
Yes.
What were you folks looking for tonight?
None of your goddamn business.
Well, maybe we could help you.
And he starts to get in his car, and he closes the door, but the back seat, the window that's right there, the back seat window opens up, and a man looks out at you. Now, he's also ugly, but maybe a little less ugly.
Yeah.
His mouth is definitely pretty wide, and his eyes are a little too sunken in. And he says, "What do you have in mind?"
Well, if
Well-
you're following them, they're headed to Bolton tomorrow.
We know
might
where
see
they're
you
headed.
Do you have a shared interest in preventing the exploitation of children, perhaps?
Look, we just want to make a deal.
Okay,
Not with you.
right. But it doesn't hurt to have other people on side.
We can handle this ourselves. And he rolls up the window and they drive off.
Friendly bunch.
You also distinctly got the smell of fish in the process.
Well,
Well, I do think we're thinking the same thing, gentlemen. I mean, Dots is not going to be long for this world if it doesn't get smart.
absolutely.
Henry, you come back out of the bathroom again. Do a luck roll.
Okay. I succeeded. Regular success.
Okay. It's again, you're sneaking around. You're staying in the shadows. And you there's nobody right where you are, but you can see, in the distance and around you, you see the roustabouts who are now breaking down the main tent and all of that. You can tell that there's a divider between you and the back where the camp is. It's an employees only area where you're not supposed to go. Do you want to go there?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
I got
I mean,
lost.
the worst they can do is just tell you to leave, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got lost. So you go back there, and what you see as you've just sort of crossed over, sort of abutted up against the back end of O'Dowd's World of Wonders, you can see that there is, what you'd consider like a carnival. They have the carts that they live in. There's one of those, and it says, O'Dowd on the side of it. And coming out of that thing, coming down the one or two steps that come out of it, you see Professor Lugash.
Aha.
And he seems a bit upset, but as he gets to the bottom of the step, he turns towards O'Dowd's. You can't really see the door where O'Dowd must be, but he says, I'll be back tomorrow with more cash. And you hear O'Dowd's voice say something like, I doubt you have that kind of cash. And the encounter ends, and you see the professor walk across towards one of the exits, very swiftly as he's going, like he's a man with a purpose, and he's upset at the same time. And you watch him go out. And at that time, some roustabout notices you, and he says, "Sir, you must, you have to go."
Oh yeah. Sorry. Hey, have a good night, eh?
So you make your way out and discover that all of your friends have just left you there for no reason whatsoever. No, they're all waiting for you at the car. Actually, I never asked you whether you had car or cars, but
We
it's
probably have
probably
two
just
vehicles.
easy enough for you to travel all together. All right. So you're going to head back into Arkham. It's probably about, we'll say about 11 p.m. What do you guys want to do?
Who's up for a speakeasy?
Now,
Oh, so
I'll
tempting.
mention it to you the Arcane Society meets in the back of the Corbin Library, and you guys have keys.
Oh, that might be the place to check for your newspaper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think also I think Ted keeps a little stash, half a bottle or a bottle back there, just in case.
Mhm. You never
Hey,
know. Additional.
Go ahead.
this professor doesn't really seem on the up and up, guys. I mean, unless he's trying to get a sample. He's trying to buy something from O'Dowd, and I think we need to have a talk with him.
Yeah. What could possibly interest a very seriously focused scientific biologist?
Let's
Wow.
let's get back to our clubhouse and
Mhm.
chat about it.
As we are driving back, I think we can pretty much all recognize at this point that whatever the Gambrelli sisters were experiencing likely has to do with the carnival, right? Like we are on the track of it. So I think further investigation is merited.
Yep. I think we need to go tomorrow to Bolton and talk to some more people.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's based on what you told me, Henry, and what we saw with those gentlemen, do you think there's some kind of bidding going on?
I'm guessing that O'Dowd knows he's got a dangerous thing happening here, and he's trying to get as much out of it as he can before something bad happens. But I think we got to talk to Professor Lugash to see
Oh.
Yeah.
just how
He
much he
knows
offered
exactly.
and what the
You know, look at a guy like O'Dowd. He's making what, quarters off of
yeah.
this fish boy's presence there. But what would someone like Lugash get from it? He'd be, if he had the fish boy, he'd be writing papers, getting possibly worldwide attention.
Yeah, famous.
Another thought, since we're in the library already, we can look into that family related to the Joe. We can look into the
But
fish
let's
boy.
start with the newspaper.
Yes.
Yeah, see about any weird murders that happened recently.
Let's not forget, too, that the fish boy is completely covered in scales, while those folks we met in the trench coats did not. I don't know if how important of a detail that could be, but maybe I was inclined to think at first that he could be there somehow and they were trying to retrieve him, but now I'm almost wondering if it could be something different from that.
Well,
Yeah, we can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's looking out for that boy.
Tend to agree.
So, just to clarify, a spot about this is unrelated to what you guys are talking about. It's the 1920s. It's prohibition. Okay, prohibition is against the buying and selling of alcohol and the manufacturing of alcohol. It's not against the possession of alcohol. So people stocked up before prohibition went into effect, and serving it at a party that you're having is not buying or selling, so it's not illegal. There may be a stash at the library.
Yeah, so there is.
Henry was
I was
saying.
going to tip into it for the vodka for tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. So very quickly, once you're there, of course, they keep the newspapers for probably about a month. They're on rods that they've got folded and they all lay there. So it doesn't take you very long looking through the recent newspaper to discover this article.
Foul play suspected in death of fisherman, Gloucester. Authorities, Gloucester. Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Sorry.
That's the way it's spelled, but that's not the way they pronounce
It's where all the horses go.
Yeah.
Authorities of the Coast Guard, Massachusetts State Police, and Gloucester Police Departments are investigating the death of Herod Bailey, 63, a local fisherman. Bailey was found dead at sea earlier this week by local fishermen. His body was caught in fishing nets and trapped beneath his boat. The corpse appeared to have been submerged for several days, according to the coroner, Dr. Whitby Lodge. Lodge's report further states that Bailey's body showed signs of strangulation, including bruises and lacerations of the throat. An unnamed Coast Guard officer stated that Bailey's case is being treated as a homicide.
And with that, that's probably a good place to take a bio break.
Oh,
Wonderful.
let's
Oh,
go
great
to the
game.
lobby. Let's
Keep an eye
go
out
to
for
the
fish.
I
lobby.
will.
It's so hard to listen to the description of that sideshow knowing, like this happened all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that wild man is probably just
Yeah.
somebody with wet brain, some alcoholic who's just out of his mind.
Yeah, they
And yeah,
the
terrible.
the people used to actually get mentally ill people or and do that to them. It's really ill. It's sick. All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah, likewise.
Same.
Okay.
Yes.
Arthur, you were going to do some investigation into the family of that thing that you saw in the jar. You do find records that family has been in Dunwich for at least 100 years, going back, but you don't find anything unusual. However, you do occasionally find weird things in Dunwich that animal mutations seem to happen a little too frequently. And if you consult with Henry Armitage, who runs the Orne Library at the Miskatonic, he'll tell you that he has long suspected some weird hanky-panky going on out in that area. Things maybe hinted of in the forbidden books that are part of his library.
Yep. Considering this doesn't seem too attached to what we're researching, I'm going to kind of set aside all the books for later, and that's going to be a material for a new mystery book.
Yeah.
Maybe
Cool.
called The Dunwich Horror.
Yeah, consult with Henry in about a year and a half, and he'll have a story to tell you. All right. Was there anything else you guys wanted to do before you turn in and then get up the next day?
Yep.
Was there anything?
No.
Okay. So we'll say the next day comes. You guys have gone home. You've rested. You've thought about these things. And it is now Monday. There are summer classes, which we'll just say you guys aren't involved in. But there will be professors at the university and students as well. What do you guys want to do?
We should probably confront Dr. Lugash at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe
Wow.
Enoch would be the best person because he's got the best sort of knowledge of these things and might be the most approachable.
And
I
you
think
probably
I could
Yeah.
accompany him. I suss
Yeah.
out if he's.
I'll
Sorry,
stand
no,
out in the
that's-
hallway while you guys talk
Yeah.
to him, just in
If he-
case he tries to make a quick escape.
If he makes a run for it, take him down.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
go smoke outside the window.
Oh, you can smoke inside right in the room.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
nobody-
right. We can
You
smoke.
you can smoke in Dr. Enoch's office while you're waiting for
Yeah. All right.
He might try to jump out of the window, so I
In
gotta
fact,
like
he'll
catch him.
prescribe smoking because it's good for the
Mhm.
lungs.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll say that you go to Professor Lukash's class just as it's letting out, we'll say at 10 a.m. And he's got maybe a half an hour before his next lecture. So you open the door and you step inside, and he is sitting behind his desk, and he is writing something as you come in. He doesn't look up, and as you come in, he hears the noise and he says, class isn't for another half an hour. And he looks up at you and he's like, oh, gentlemen, can I
Hello.
do something for you?
So we happened to hear you were at the circus yesterday, weren't you?
Yes.
It's quite the show, wasn't it?
Well, interesting, yes, to say the least.
Did you have a chance to finish the business you were conducting?
How do you know about that?
Well, it's becoming widespread fairly quickly, and I think it's probably good if you
What?
can tell
What do you mean
us.
widespread?
Yeah, it's picking up, and I think there's still time that we can help you. What's going on?
How many people know about this? I mean, I know that it's on display, but
On display. It's
It
which one of them
It's-
is yours?
no. What are you talking about?
The one you're talking about on
Clarify.
display in O'Dowd's. Which exhibit are you talking about?
Well,
It's-
I'm talking about the fish boy.
of course.
Yeah, that's what we figured.
I want to purchase it. Do you understand? I mean, have you seen the conditions of the place?
Yeah, they're awful.
It's-
It's hideous.
It's awful. I want to purchase it from him, and I mean, rescue it, if you will. I'd like to, study it, see what it eats, make sure it's getting its proper food and is taken care of. It's probably going to die under that horrible man's care.
Can I roll psychology to see if he seems
Sure.
sincere? Yeah, okay. Because I failed. I will spend luck. It's a 94, so it's just underneath the critical failure range.
I don't spend
So
that much
for me,
luck. I mean,
it will.
yeah.
It'll take me down to, so I'll go to from 75. It'll be 19 points of luck.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
spend it happily. Yeah, I just want to. Does he seem realistically concerned?
Well, he seems more because you passed. I'll say that he seems to you extremely scientifically interested. You're not sure if his concern for the boy's welfare is more because he's concerned for its welfare, or that he's concerned that they're going to destroy it. And he wants to learn more about this. He believes that it's real.
When did you first hear of the fish boy?
I didn't. It was 2 days ago. I just, Mary from such and such department decided she wanted to go, and I went with her and a group of others, and they wanted to see the Freakshow. I wasn't really that interested, but when I saw it, I was blown away. It might support some of the theories that I have biologically. I'm not willing to go into them. It's still in unwritten papers, but if I could learn from it, I don't know that it's just an anomaly. I think that it might be something. It's too symmetrical. It's not just a growth. I mean, you saw it, yes?
We saw it,
Yes.
yes. I agree with you. The conditions were most deplorable, but what struck me was the pain in the child's eyes. It has the
Well,
feeling and the emotional range of a human child.
well, you've seen O'Dowd. He treats it like a slave. He's really quite horrific with any of his exhibits that are, he could perceive as weak. He's almost as horrific with that poor man that he has in the pit.
Ugh.
But I don't think that child can do anything to defend itself. And I mean, I was there. I made him an offer. I've pretty much mortgaged my house, and I've put together $6,000. And he practically laughed in my face, said that somebody from Ringling Brothers was going to be there tonight, and that he's going to try to make a deal with him, and he doesn't want to give it up because he says it's going to be his future as a showman.
So you haven't given him money yet, correct?
Well, no, I still have my money, but I think that how many other people know about this?
A few. Word is spreading. I would tend to warn you to stay away. It sounds like some of the interest is not altogether positive.
Look, I mean, I'm willing. I know, in the name of science, if I could persuade you somehow to help me obtain that specimen, gentlemen, if you were willing to, by some means, free the child and bring him to me, I'd be willing to give you the $6,000.
I don't.
Realize too that $6,000 in 1920 is you could buy a mansion with that kind of money.
Doctor?
I don't want to speak for everyone else, but I think that the boy is dangerous. Not the boy himself, but the trouble he brings may be dangerous for anyone involved. Something is possibly following, looking for this.
If he makes a deal with Ringling Brothers, we'll never see that child again. He'll be used as some freak in a freak show, and he'll probably die of malnutrition, and that'll be the end of it. And science will have gained absolutely nothing.
I would like to push science forward a bit. I mean, as of right now, we don't. I don't think the boy has any other better options.
Unless perhaps those other folks were possibly blood kin. Sorry. The situation is becoming more involved. I do believe, like you said, that he's not an anomaly.
Just think of what we could learn from him. I mean, nobody that I know has ever seen anything like this. Is he a is he evidence of, there are mer people, mermaids, and mermen, or that all of those old legends were pointing to something like this? I mean, you understand, I'm consumed with the idea. It's right within our grasp, and how can we turn our backs on scientific knowledge?
How much did he give you a price? How much is he asking?
Oh, he won't give me. I thought for sure that my $6,000 would be more than he could ever imagine. And then he just laughed in my face and said that the Ringling Brothers Circus would pay 10 times that amount, he said. I don't believe that, but I'm definitely sure that he's just an opportunist and he just wants to make money. And that poor fish boy is going to be the one who suffers.
At the very least, we do intend to investigate this further. I think it's possible that we will get back to you later, and perhaps in the near future can make a trade. But I would suggest, for the time being, that you keep your distance from the circus. Their guards are.
I have no means to make any higher offer at this point. I sold everything that I can sell to get this much money. But I'd give it all to you if you could manage to.
And what do you have for facilities to contain and continue this child's life? Will you educate him? Will you?
That will be definitely part of it. A complete scientific understanding would involve his diet, his upbringing. I don't really know if he can speak. He's never made any noise, but he seems to open and close his mouth as if he could speak.
I may have assets. I don't know how quickly they can be liquidated, but if the Ringling Brothers are coming, today, then I suppose that wouldn't be of much help.
Look,
my guess is O'Dowd will want to show him off one last time, probably. And then after the show concludes. I see Arthur around the corner.
yeah,
Arthur.
I'll kind of pop in and I guess get caught up. But I would like to ask, if we were to obtain the fish boy, we would need a place to keep him. He couldn't sustain himself outside of the water, so we can't just take him. There would be transportation. There would be the place to hide him. That sort of stuff.
I don't know. You'll have to figure that out. But I mean, if you bring him here, I can have a tank of some sort ready for him. I'll have to spend some of my money to get something like that, but I mean, I was hoping when I purchased him that the tank that he's in would come with it, obviously. But I can try and have something ready.
The child would probably desperately like to be away from that tank that he's in. It's not comfortable. He's been poked and prodded.
He definitely would like to be away from that horrible man.
I think the entire setting. And what he'd like is probably to be back with his family or creatures like him, if they exist.
His family? I mean, we don't know anything about that, do we?
We don't.
So probably by this time, students start to arrive for the next class. He says, you'll have to excuse me, but think about what I said.
We will. Let's leave.
Okay.
And now that we're out of earshot, let's
Yeah.
fill Henry in and Christopher in. You guys, I'm still not totally sure about this guy. His motivations are better than I thought. Like, he does seem to intend to not just slice Fishboy open and start studying him, but I still don't know if he's doing it for all the right reasons. And
Well,
maybe that's
if
silly to consider.
if we're right and the three fishermen are somehow akin in some way, they would be the best people, right?
If I could see the fish boy in their presence and see how he reacts to them, there's a lot we could tell right away if he flinches from them or is relieved to see them. Uh, Unfortunately, in the situation, I fear
Well, they're not
it's
very
gonna,
friendly people. That's the problem. They're not easy to talk
they're
to.
not. It's possible they fear
And
exposure.
and they've likely committed or possibly committed murder. I mean, that fellow
Judging.
that he bought the fish boy from, likely. It wasn't just an accident that got him tangled under the boat.
I agree with your instincts, Christopher.
But in any case, becoming a marvel of science is not a good fate for any child either. I mean, if they are the family, we should do what we can in that regard as much as possible. Even if they don't want our help, we must try to figure out some way to assist.
At least trying to cease the possibility of continued violence.
Yeah, and we should not let the boy fall into Ringling's hands. You're right. The doctor is right. I mean, that's it for that boy. He won't survive a year.
Yeah.
Well, maybe once we're done at Bolton, we could go to Gloucester and see if we can pull on that string a little there.
Well, they did say they knew that the circus was going to Bolton. We should see them again. Perhaps we should put our best suits on and put our best foot forward and see if we can have another step at talking to them.
This is it.
Yeah, it's a nice suit. Looks good.
Knowing where the carnival is going is actually pretty easy to find out. You know that they're going to Bolton for 2 days, 2 nights, and then they're moving to Aylesbury, which is the Arkham, Aylesbury. They're all right in this area.
Right.
You're not sure where they're going after that. That's too far in the future for them to decide. All right. So do you do anything during the day? Well, obviously, yeah, you can. I forgot you can go to the carnival early.
Yeah, we're going to go early and at least allow ourselves to be, meet people and sort of get a sense of the ground.
All right. So
actually, quickly, do we want to purchase any kind of like water tub to put in the back of one of the vehicles, or
that's a good question.
Something like that is that we should think about our possible that if we come down to this being the night, we might need
if we have to rescue
our escape
him,
plan.
We would need something that could retain water that we could move quickly.
Gentlemen, I don't think you understand the situation. Those roustabouts there, they're not going to let us take a boy out of there. We're going to wind up with busted skulls on the side of the road.
Unless we create a distraction. We just have to make a big enough distraction. Now the thing is, what could we get the boy into that he would be comfortable and safe in?
Intelligence rolls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
How far out of our way is Gloucester?
Gloucester is probably, it would be like going into Boston. So probably take you an hour to get there.
I got an extreme success on my
I got
roll.
Okay.
Extreme as well.
Yay.
Barrel, bathtub. Surely people have old bathtubs lying around that would hold water. There's probably either metal or wooden barrels that would hold water.
Okay.
I mean, he is a boy.
Splash
He's
around.
He's small.
He's small.
Right.
If you were going to guess, you'd say between 2 and 3 years old. That
Okay.
size
Good
for a
heavens.
Oh my
little
goodness.
boy.
So just a big
Oh,
sturdy
goodness.
steel barrel would be enough for him, at least for a little while, until we got him to the water or to his family or something. Okay, so we'll get a barrel and have one
Yeah.
ready.
Maybe a small pack of sardines just in case he's hungry.
Yep,
Hmm.
good idea. Yeah, of course.
Mhm.
He's probably not being fed well. He's probably being
Fish
starved.
flakes.
Yeah.
Sardines
him
with
over the-
mustard or all right. So you arrive at the carnival. It's pretty
Mhm.
much set up exactly the same way.
Mhm.
Just for the sake of argument, we'll say that it's set up the same way. You can still see people erecting the main tent
Mhm.
and putting the restrooms into place and all that. And as you come up to the front gate, one of the roustabouts walks over towards you and he says, "Yeah, we're not open until 4."
Well, I mentioned my friend who's the
Alejandro.
fortune teller, Alejandro. Alejandro said we could come and I'll open up my jacket and I'll show the vodka.
Oh,
Come
your
in
friends
for a
with
little-
him?
yeah.
Or he says, he probably says, you mean, what's his actual name? Chuck Baranski. You
Yeah,
mean
Chuck. Good
yeah.
old Chuck.
And he just sort of lets you in and he points back towards the private area, the employee area that goes into the I want to say the personnel area. It's just ask around back there. You'll find him. They're probably eating food. They're eating lunch.
Okay.
All right. So you cross back over there. And you go through the employee only thing and you're now in the personnel area. And in the personnel area, you see the look it up on my own. You see the various wagons. That's what I wanted to say earlier. The various wagons for some of the bigger performers. You see Nichols. His trailer is there. It's the bigger one, and it's obviously a little bit more fancy than the rest. But you see the one for the jugglers, and you see the one for the fire breather and so forth. And as you're passing through that area, you can see that it opens up to behind the carnival, where everybody else's stuff, where the roustabouts stay and all that. And there's a large tent-like awning that's put up with tables, and there are quite a few people sitting around. They're having lunch. You recognize most of them. They're the freaks and the performers, the clowns. Of course, you don't recognize the clowns because they're not in makeup at the moment, but you figure that's who they are. And a lot of them look over at you when you come through the thing.
Okay,
somebody starts to get up and come over, and you see the mystic guy wave his hand. He says, "Over here. These are the guys I was telling you about last night." So you all come in, and they're like, "Eat with us. Here's food."
Okay,
Oh yeah, grab a plate of food.
I'll put the vodka down on the table.
And you get a mixture of friendly and aloof from some of these people. The freaks are less, they're wary of you. The performers, the husband and wife who ride the horses and all that, the handsome man who sticks his head in the lion's mouth, they're all very friendly. What do you want to do?
Well, I'd like to suss out what they think of what's his name's exhibits. Dowd's exhibits. Just work it into the conversation and
the
see if
general
any of
feeling,
these
yeah.
people have kind of gone like, yeah, there's something wrong with what's going on. If there's
So-
anyone who doesn't like it.
I'll ask you this then. Do you speak to the ring show performer, or do you speak to one of the freaks from the freak show? So either the employees of Nichols or the employees of O'Dowd.
But
Who would you like?
Let's start with Nichols.
yeah, we should do both because I mean, it'd be
Oh,
helpful to
okay.
know. Yeah.
So we'll say that in general, the people who work directly for Nichols, for Ted Nichols, it's a circus life. They feel that Ted pays them pretty well. This is the life they wanted. They're not really, they don't complain about anything. And in general, they don't think much of O'Dowd. He puts on a show, he's loud, he smiles and he's friendly, but behind the scenes, he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm.
And fortunately, they don't have to deal with him. They deal with Nichols, and Nichols has always been fairly fair and does them well. And one of them at least says something about, I heard on the rumor mill that O'Dowd is hoping that he can sell his entire act to the Ringling Brothers. Somebody's supposed to show up tonight to take a look at his little creep show.
Would that affect Nichols Circus? Would that be a bad thing if O'Dowd did take off?
Not really.
No.
I mean,
Speaking of people showing up to look around, have you seen anybody that looks like this? And I show them a little sketch I made from the description, everybody.
that's the do a luck roll.
Okay.
I guess I could do a luck roll, but
I rolled a 12 and my luck is 55. So
oh, nice. So one of them
All right.
says, "Oh, those guys, we saw them creeping around." Yeah. It's like, what's with the getup?
that's what we're
They
trying to
s-
figure out.
Yeah, they seem to be interested in O'Dowd and his
Yeah.
freaks.
That's what we guessed. All right.
So then you go over and you do notice that there is a bit of a separation. There's a semi-separation between the freaks and the performers. And in many ways, you would guess it does have a lot to do with how good looking they are. So Redondo, the fire eater, and the snake guy, and those people, they seem to be able to commingle with the performers. But also the tattooed lady. The other ones, the bearded lady and the wolf man and Heavy Effie, they seem to be a little more at their own table. And among them, you do not see the horror from the South Pacific or the Fish Boy or
Or Donnie, for that matter.
Well, Donnie's dead. So
yeah.
Oh, no.
if Donnie's
they're
there,
not-
there's a problem.
They're not sprinkling fish food in the Donnie tank. But you do see, the little short man,
Boris.
the Russian, who's not in his Russian getup. And they all seem less cheerful, but they're eating. They're more to themselves. They might be laughing and carrying on with one another, but there's a distinct difference between them and the performers. Who would you like to talk to amongst them?
I think maybe Boris, the tiny Russian.
Ah, Boris. Boris is possibly the meanest, rudest little man. He doesn't trust you. He thinks that you're just there to laugh at him. And it takes a little bit of coaxing to get him to where he'll treat you like he wants to be treated, which is with a little more respect. But he opens up a little. He also drinks a little, and once he drinks a little, he opens up a little bit more. What do you want to ask him?
Well,
Just
And he's not Russian, obviously.
no, clearly not.
Go ahead, Arthur.
gonna say, what do you think? You know, what do you think of your boss? You know,
O'Dowd is a lousy fucking human. I mean, he pays us okay, but he treats us like shit.
yeah.
And
But he doesn't pay all of you, does he? I mean,
I don't know.
why do you pay a guy in a cage covered in his own filth?
Well, I mean, he feeds them, and
Yeah.
you mean the horror?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
horror.
man.
The horror is the horror. The horror is
I mean,
that guy's fucking out of his mind. Shits all over himself. You know,
Eats raw
I don't know
chickens.
what.
I
Eats
mean,
raw chicken.
What
Then
about
he's
the
paid.
little boy?
Yeah,
The
that
fish
kid in
boy.
there.
That exhibit's new. I don't know. I don't see him treating that kid very well anyway. I'm not sure what the hell's going on there. Kid smells like fish.
He stays in that
But-
tank all the time, right?
Oh yeah. Never gets out of it. I think that's probably what's wrong with him. But yeah, he's only had him for a week or so.
Only a week. Huh. And
Yeah,
during that
thinks
week,
Thinks he's gonna become some big star with Ringling Brothers.
Hmm.
But if I had the means to get out of this place and go somewhere else, I would. But I just can't afford. He pays us enough to where we can survive, but that's about it. And besides, who would give me a job?
you think if O'Dowd fucked off, you'd still have a place with Nichols, maybe?
I don't know if Nichols wanted a freak show.
I mean,
I could probably run it better than O'Dowd.
Bet you could.
Yeah. Okay.
Although he says that, and you do get the impression that some of the others are like, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe
he's
not.
almost as nasty as
Yeah.
Like a-
Okay.
give him
Smaller,
power
like-
and it would be horrible.
Littler dots.
Hey Tom, while we're asking about the fish boy, I want to look at the other performers and
Uh-huh.
see if like
Mm.
maybe especially like Lisa, the bearded lady, see if they have any responses. Kind of like watching body language.
Yeah. I'd say the people who seem to have the most compassion towards the kid would be the bearded lady,
Mm.
maybe the snake man, though he does it in a far more masculine sort of, just respectful way. Heavy Effie is pretty much the same personality you saw in there. She's very pushy and she's hogging the food, and she's not a very pleasant person, which is unfortunate, but she's not particularly ugly either. You'd think that if she slimmed down, she'd be fine looking, but she's let her eating get away with her. The painted
Lisa,
lady seems to be kind of, into herself.
Hmm.
And the general attitude towards most of them is they're there trying to survive for themselves. They don't have much that they can offer one another.
right?
Yeah. So they got a little bit of
Okay.
a community between each other then.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, they kind of consider each themselves family,
Mhm.
but just because they work together, and I mean, you don't think this way because you're in the 1920s, but they probably fuck together too.
Oh, sure.
Where else are you going to get it?
Yeah.
Um, you actually probably get a very positive sort of feeling in that direction towards the painted lady. That for a little extra, she'll do whatever you want. But then you might get that also from the snake man and the fire breather. So the general consensus is nobody really likes O'Dowd. And he treats them, the more they can give back to O'Dowd's treatment, the less he treats them badly. But the horror and the fish boy are probably the least able to defend themselves, and O'Dowd's pretty shitty to them.
Yeah.
You think somebody from Ringling is really coming by?
They all like that's what O'Dowd said.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got scouts. They send out scouts looking for new stuff. I don't know what they'd want. I mean, surely snake men and painted ladies are a dime a dozen.
Pardon me.
The snake
I've
guy
got to
also
see
does
him.
have his snake with him because he loves that snake.
I've got to see a man about a horse. And I head off towards the bathrooms.
Okay.
Doc, can you help him with that problem?
I think I might need to.
I'm really headed towards O'Dowd's wagon.
Today's big mystery.
Okay. Well, Henry seems to know the formula. So Henry, you head over there, and you're on your way over. I'd like you to. I don't think you need a spot hidden. I'm going to say just as you're sort of clearing one tent and turning so that you can now see O'Dowd's tent. You see, you didn't see the trench coat men last night, did you?
No, I didn't.
So what you see is two trench coated men. They're standing near the bottom of the stairs going up into O'Dowd's wagon. And you hear a rather loud conversation going on inside the wagon. If you want to try a stealth roll,
Oh, you bet.
you can get close enough.
Oh, I doubt that's good enough. You know what? I'm going to spend 21 luck to make a regular success.
Okay. Right. So you very carefully wind your way around the other tents, and you come up to where you're towards the back end of the wagon, where you can hear what's going on, but the other guys can't see you. They are still dressed in these big old heavy trench coats. The sun beating down on them. They're really keeping those hats to where the sun's off their faces. You hear an odd sounding voice. It sounds almost like a man underwater. It's got a weird sort of sound to it. It also has an odd accent. You still think maybe a New England accent, but it's distorted by the sound of it. It says, look, we're willing to offer you a considerable sum of money. What would you say to $1,500? You hear Dot's voice, and he laughs. And he says, look, Marsh, these freaks are my livelihood. I put on shows. I display them for their oddities. And that one's pretty odd. Without my freaks, I'm out of a job, and $1,500 isn't going to go that far in the end. Oh, I understand, but it's important to us that we get what we came for. What do you say to $2,000? That is all I have with me. Dots is like, no dice. Even if I thought about selling you, you're still way under what other people are offering. Listen to me, the voice says. It says, I am willing to go back to Innsmouth and retrieve more money, as I am a patient man. But my patience can only go so far, and I can't guarantee the actions of my fellows. You hear Dot say, sorry, mister. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get ready for the show. And you then see this third person come out, and you hear him say to his two comrades, he's like, come on, we've got to go back to Innsmouth, but if we don't get what we want, we're going to have to take serious measures here. And they storm off. But
do I get a good look at their face so I can kind of confirm what they saw yesterday?
They're definitely trying to keep that down. But yeah, do a luck roll. That's what you do. I guess her a spot hidden.
I would rather roll a spot hidden.
Do a spot hidden. Do a spot hidden.
Yeah, I got a 46 regular success.
There is a moment when they're talking amongst themselves that their hats kind of flip up a little, and with the sunlight hitting them, oh, they are ugly. Their mouths are far too wide. Their eyes are like wide and unblinking. There's definitely a frog or fish-like quality to the way they look. Some of them have, instead of facial hair, little what almost look like tentacles hanging off their chins, and they're fucking hideous. They're also kind of grayish green to their skin. And when they walk towards the exit, very oddly, they don't walk normally. They're almost hop walking, or like they're seriously deformed physically. And before you can do anything, they've left. What do you want to do next?
Well, I'm thinking O'Dowd is going to be here. O'Dowd is going to be here for a little while, changing. I'll go back to my buds, fill them in. I think we should confront this guy.
Marsh?
No, O'Dowd.
O'Dowd, yeah.
Yeah,
You know what?
Marsh, he and his boys, they said they're leaving for Innsmouth, so
Well, you know what I think we should do is we should find out who the Ringling guy is, give him a little bit too much to drink, and take his place.
well, yeah, I mean,
Then we can make
that,
Dowd any offer that'll make him happy. We'll pay him a nice big check signed by Ringling himself or something.
Hmm.
Stick the boy in the barrel and then go try to catch up with this Marsh fellow.
You're assuming he doesn't know who the agent is.
Well, does he?
I don't know. We don't know anything.
And you
Right?
mentioned that they were starting to mumble a little bit about the potential of violence, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I think they will. I think if they come back with more money and O'Dowd still says no, he's
try to
going to be
force.
he's going to be facing some tentacle squishy gray fist to the face action.
So why did they kill the fisherman then? That doesn't make sense.
Well, he's a child abductor.
He maybe pulled their
Oh,
kid
you
out of the
think-
sea and sold him to the surf. I'm just wondering if
Yeah.
this means there's another element out there, maybe beyond them.
Look, that kid is beautiful, and these guys are freaks. They don't have anything to do with each
I don't
other.
talk about my brother much, but he's pretty hideous.
Well,
Not everybody
yeah.
in the same family looks as good as each other.
So he's an offshoot, some kind of anomaly.
He takes more after my dad. I take after my mom. You know, that's my looks like it.
I mean the fish boy, not the.
Oh, he probably takes after his mom, sure.
We got to stop calling him Fish Boy. I mean,
Oliver.
he's a person.
Oliver.
Okay, he
Yeah.
probably does have a name of some kind. Look, we need to talk
Yeah.
to Marsh if we can and see if we can get him on side.
They're gone.
Yeah.
They're heading back to Innsmouth.
You know what? I'll bet you $5 they've left someone behind to watch the show. Maybe we can talk to them. It's got to be somebody around here working for them that's going to keep an eye on them.
Check. I hate to tell you, but talk to Dowd, and he's just going to be an
Yeah.
asshole to us too. I
And
don't
we're
think
going to
there's
get the
anywhere to-
roustabouts tossing this out. We need allies, and we need a plan.
Good points. What do you
Let's
think
see.
about spreading some cash around to the folks in O'Dowd's show?
Well, that's just it. If what you said is that the Innsmouth fellows or the Marsh fellows or whatever have money, we could use that to bribe the local guys, and that
We
could
got
be
a
an
few
in.
bucks. I mean, they sound pretty raw.
$2,000 is a lot of money.
No, I'm not saying buy the boy. I'm saying spread some money to
To bribe but
Yeah.
$2,000 would be a good bribe.
Well, yeah. We don't have to knock them
half
off.
crossed my mind that maybe we should have taken a cash advance from Professor Gash. And
But we have to work with them in the future. We don't want to
I
have
suppose.
that. Yeah.
have to explain later. Oh, sorry, the fish boy got back to the sea.
Yeah, he wouldn't like that. Can we try to see if we can find any weird-looking fisherman fellow just kind of hanging behind a tree, skulking around?
Newspaper with a hole in it.
Yeah.
Look,
Um,
Lisa and the Snake Man, I forget his name. They seem to be pretty compassionate about this kid. I mean, as much as anybody could. I bet, if we slipped him a fin or something,
Yep.
they'd let us in.
All right. Money plus compassion is a good deal.
you say slip them a fin.
Oh God, he did, didn't he? Oh, I need to uppercut you. I'm sorry.
So here's the thing. I mean, thinking about it logically, these are carnies.
Right.
And they don't, nobody here likes O'Dowd. So slipping them $10 is probably an awful lot of money.
Okay, so we're not,
That's what I
so,
mean.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And that might just be to look the other way,
Yeah.
whatever.
If we got in there, I cringe at the ethical complications of this, but unfortunately, the horror from the South Pacific might be so far gone they're past worth saving. But could they perhaps provide us with the distraction we're seeking? And
That
Set
would
him
be very
free.
dangerous, Professor.
that could
because
be
that
a
guy
risk.
gets loose. We don't know who he's going to attack.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, we'd like to think it's going to be like
I
Igor
would-
and Frankenstein or something like that.
if he has any level of cognitive reasoning, I can tell you who he's going to want to attack.
Yeah. If he's right in front of him.
No.
That's a good idea, though. I mean, as a last ditch thing, letting the gimp loose would be, yeah,
That's what we'll call that plan.
unleash the gimp. But if we can get the marshes to be ready for a pickup, then we don't have to take this boy all the way to Gloucester in a
Yeah.
trunk.
I-
So we'd need to talk to the marshes.
Do you trust those guys? They look like
I-
real freaks to me.
Okay, what else are we going to do? We're just going to drop them in the ocean?
I don't know, but I don't
Maybe.
think these guys are either gonna. I don't think they're gonna stop either. If we
Well, then we're going to be
free
saving
the
lives.
kid.
Yeah, we're going to be saving lives if we just hand them over. And if you're not feeling
Maybe not
altruistic,
his life. Maybe they want to eat him.
I
I
don't.
do you think that's the case? Okay, well,
Yeah,
then we
it
need
could
to
be.
talk to them and
We-
suss that out. We need to
They
suss that out.
just are so unreasonable of having a conversation. I'm not sure what we can do to force that, but
Well, let's find their man here who's
Yeah.
around and talk to him if he'll let us talk to him.
Um, I won't leave this to an intelligence roll, but what you guys do know, the name Marsh is pretty famous.
Ring a bell.
The Marshes are definitely Innsmouth folks.
Mhm.
And for many, many years, their money comes from the fact that they run a gold smelting operation. Nobody knows exactly where the gold comes from, but they are by far the wealthiest family in Innsmouth. So he'd have a telephone.
Let's call him.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get whatever closest phone and we'll get the operator because that's what you did back then and ask to get Innsmouth and get the Innsmouth operator.
We'll assume this is a couple of hours later
Yeah.
because it would
Yeah.
take him that long to
To get home.
to Innsmouth.
Yeah.
You get what sounds like a secretary who has an odd treble to her voice. And then she turns you over to the voice clicks on. This is Jacob Marsh.
Hello,
Who am I
hello,
speaking with?
hello, Mr. Marsh. You're speaking with Mr. Sharp.
Mr. Sharp.
Yes. So, Mr. Marsh, I know you don't have very much reason to trust us, but we have found a person who is in need of rescue, and we think you might be the people trying to help him. And we know that you're having trouble because it's very hard to deal with people. And we want to help you. If we can get a certain boy free, could you be able to pick them up from us?
I assume you're talking about the fellow at the carnival.
Yes, we're talking about that shithead. He's a problem. But we may have means of getting the boy out of there. And then
Oh,
I presume your family, my reasonable, or family. You have some connection to this boy, or you wouldn't be doing this.
let's just say the family and I have a mutual interest.
Okay, so you can get him home then. That's the main thing.
Yes.
Okay. So
What do you want?
we're going to bribe our way into his tent, his building. We already have an in with his employees. We're going to get the boy into what we hope is a decent amount of water for his safety. And then we're going to try to get him out of there, but it won't necessarily be easy. If you had a truck or some means to pick us up for him in the can that we'll have him in, you can take him home. We can arrange a rendezvous. Maybe we might need a distraction if we can come up with something that isn't going to harm too many people. If that's something you can pull off.
Listen to me.
Yes.
How are you going to obtain the boy? We have already offered $2,000 and were refused. I am bringing back more money this evening, but I'm not sure this man is reasonable.
He's setting his sights high because he thinks the Ringling Circus is going to pay him a lot of money. I don't know if you could get the amount of money he thinks he's going to get from them.
Look, they're messing with the wrong person. If I will tell you what, I have $2,000 in my hands right now. I will give you this money, but I would like you to convince him that he needs to give the boy up or it's going to be very bad for him.
You see,
I want you to convince him to bring the boy to Olan's Beach, which, you maybe you know where that is. It's
Yeah,
not
sure.
too far from Gloucester.
Okay.
To Olan's Beach, and there we will make the exchange.
Hmm. I see.
How
Well,
much do you think this Nichols is involved in this?
he seems more peripheral than anything else. In fact, he'd probably be happy if O'Dowd screwed off forever.
If you think that he is involved in this, we would like him there as well to make the exchange, as well as you and your party.
Well, we were hoping to rescue the boy from his captivity and take him away, but you want O'Dowd there, is what you're saying. You want to meet him. He's not likely to be very reasonable. That's why we were thinking we'd kidnap him.
Listen to me. I am not the king of Innsmouth. I am just a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
There are many other parties involved in this, and they are not as patient as I am. I cannot guarantee that there will not be some shenanigans tonight.
Right.
So I would suggest you get him to comply. If you phone me and you tell me you are on the way, then everything will be all right.
Okay.
Click. He hangs up.
He plays hardball, this guy.
Doing him a big favor.
I know, and he's still playing hardball.
He did make a good point, though, about Nichols. I mean, all the people were saying Nichols is a much better man. And we know that O'Dowd owes Nichols a lot of money. So maybe Nichols can put the strong arm on O'Dowd and force the sale.
That's a good point. Okay, we could try to convince that. We probably should find some way to prevent the Ringling guy from showing up, though. Maybe
we got time
put
right
a hole
now.
in his tire or something.
Yeah, all we have to do there is convince him it's all a hoax, catch him at the door, cut him off at the pass, and if he overhears a few of us, maybe we set a scene that he
Oh yeah, talking about, oh man, what a fake looking fish boy.
Yeah, let's figure it out if we run into that.
Okay.
I think we head out there right now and talk to
right.
to
So
Nichols.
we tell Nichols we can get him $2,000 free and clear if he can get Dowd to give the boy up.
And I think we should go talk to the professor and get a couple of grand extra. Just
we have
in case.
to work with him. If we don't get the money back, he's never going to let us forget it.
Let's be clear. There is I mean, I was already considering that maybe the people who murdered the fishermen aren't the same as the Smarsh. But if they are, we might be sending O'Dowd and Nichols to that beach to...
Well, that's why I don't want Nichols to come along. Because he doesn't have to, right?
But if we
I'd be okay if they put the fear of God into O'Dowd. This is not a good man.
No, he's not.
No.
He needs to learn the lesson.
And I've seen the way that Irish gangsters teach a lesson. These guys remind me of them.
When you say the fear of God, I don't think you mean one of our gods. But
I think
what I don't see.
Right. So we should talk to Nichols. I think you're right.
Were you going to say something, Arthur?
Yeah, sir.
I was just thinking if we ever need to, for example, craft the story to convince O'Dowd, I could, or maybe pretend to be someone or not. Someone would not. I could help with that.
That's great. Doc, you got any thoughts?
I think we go talk to Nichols.
Yeah.
You're on board? Okay. Who's the most reasonable person here?
Well, our psychologist is very good at being a smooth talker.
I got lucky with Lou Gash. He was pretty terrified that secret was out.
If If I wanted to intimidate someone, Henry, I would send you. If I wanted to sweet talk someone, I'd send Rowan.
Who are you going to go talk to?
Nichols first.
Oh.
What do we have?
Rowan, you can do a psychology roll.
It is a 50, which is a regular success.
Okay. Just off the top of your head, your psychological evaluation of O'Dowd is that he has been offered progressively $1,500, $2,000, $6,000. He's convinced, obviously in his own mind, that he could make $1 million off of this kid. Obviously, what's Ringling Brothers going to offer him? So he's going to be very difficult. But yeah, you're going to go talk to Nichols.
Yeah. What Nichols thinks about it.
Yeah, I mean, if O'Dowd keeps holding out, he's not going to get anything. I mean, this boy's going to get picked up by this Innsmouth gang, and O'Dowd's just going to be out whatever he paid for it, and still no way to pay back Nichols. So, I mean, seems like Nichols is a decent businessman. He's got a bird in the hand.
Or if he's so driven by greed, I mean, that's a really good assessment, Kane. Can we convince O'Dowd that there's someone with offering even more money than Ringling if he goes back to Gloucester, or do you think he wouldn't go for that?
I think that'd be a harder sell than what happens if we crash his deal and suddenly Ringley's not in the picture. What happens then when his plans fall through and
then he
the
falls to the
not...
next best offer he had. Yeah.
Yeah. He would probably consider Ringling Brothers the top. There's no other higher that it could go than that.
Yeah, and his
all right. So we're assuming now we're a couple of hours later. So we'll just say that maybe in 2 hours the carnival's going to reopen. You wanted to go talk to Nichols.
Yeah, sure.
I would
so
like
you make
to
it
join.
back.
Arthur, come along. That'd be great.
You go back into the personnel area and you see the much nicer wagon. And you see people coming in and out, because they're putting things together, they're hooking up the electricity, they're getting all that done. You step inside, or you're invited inside, and he's sitting behind a small desk, obviously doing the accounting and stuff like that for the carnival. He says, gentlemen, I don't know who you are. What do you need? Looking for jobs?
Oh, go ahead.
I just said, are you looking for jobs?
No, not currently, although never know when my books stop getting buyers. I'm Arthur Prescott. This is
Rowan Kane.
Yes.
Pleased to meet you.
And we would like to talk to you about we'll call it a business matter regarding your friend O'Dowd.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, not exactly friend, co-worker or colleague, yeah.
Seems to be the general consensus. We caught the show last night, actually, back in Arkham. Is good. Thought we'd come for round 2, but to put it lightly, it sounds like O'Dowd's playing quite the angle. I'm sure you're aware of it. It sounds I don't doubt that you may share some financial burden in running this show.
Oh, well, he owes me some money, but that whole thing over there, that's his. If you have some complaints or something went wrong, I mean, you're gonna have to talk to him. I'm I'm not involved with that. What are you talking about?
We're curious as to hear, as far as Mr. O'Dowd's debt, what you think the chances are of him being able to repay it to you.
I mean, he's repaid part of it, but I mean, how do you know about that?
Well, we've come to our attention that there's been several interested buyers that he's turned away for rather reasonable amounts of money.
2000.
Okay, what are we talking about? I mean, he recently I gave him a loan of money so that he could buy a new freak,
The fish
Yes.
boy.
the fish boy.
Yes.
And he's of course been threatening me to go to Ringling Brothers. I think he said that one of their agents was coming here tonight, you know.
How much of
So
the how much of the transaction are you aware of what occurred when he procured Fish Boy?
oh well, he needed a loan of $500. And as far as I know, he paid $500 himself. So it was $1,000. We had to purchase it together from some fisherman. Um, why? Why are you asking me this? Who are you working for? He suddenly looks very suspicious and maybe a little bit nervous.
Well, we're mostly independent. We're merely trying to resolve the situation in the best way possible. Um, but there are other parties interested in this fish boy that
Perhaps even we could say agencies. But it's quickly going to turn out that this is there is potential for loss here rather than gain.
Just quit beating around the bush. Tell me what you got to tell me.
we need to we need O'Dowd to give up the fish boy.
And if the sooner he does, the better chances that you have of breaking even on it. Without investigation, without attention.
Okay. Fuck has O'Dowd gotten me into? Uh, who are you with? Irish Mafia? What's going on? You guys look like professors, but
We're spokespeople for a separate entity, just intervening for concerned parties.
so what you're telling me you want the fish boy? I want the fucking fish boy gone. Fucking O'Dowd. What the fuck has he gotten me involved in?
Look,
Um,
There was an offer on the table for $6,000. That's passed. Now there's still a chance for $2,000 on the table, and he's about to fuck that up.
by the time he gets the perspective offer with the Ringley brothers, more dangerous agencies are going to get involved, and there probably won't be any money.
There might not even be a carnival left by the time they're done.
fuck. $6,000, and he
He
turned
blew
it
it.
down. A piece of shit.
Man mortgaged his house for it.
Look, oh my God. Here's the thing: is that this whole World of Wonders shit is his. It's his baby, and I can't make. I told him when I gave him the loan that the fish boy's half mine, but that's just because I want the money, for the fish that I loaned him. What he does with his freak show, I don't have any control over. But you see, people are asking about this. This is starting to get a little scary. I mean, if I could tell him what to do, I'd tell him to get the fuck rid of this fish boy.
Well, we may have an opportunity for you to be able to do that. We've arranged a possible meeting at Olan's Beach.
Okay.
Safe place to transport the kid.
Well, gentlemen, I've got a show to get ready for, and go find him. Tell him that he needs to get his shit together and make a deal and get rid of that fish boy, because I don't know what this all means, but there's some weird ass shit going on here.
I don't think he's gonna be willing to go down to that beach without you. And if you're willing to come with us to,
I've got a show. I mean, I'm not really involved in this shit. Forget the $500. I don't give a shit. Just tell him to get rid of that damn thing. I'll go tell him. And he gets up from his desk, and
I'll shoot a glance to Arthur.
I guess we join him.
Yeah.
So with him leading the way, he sort of marches his way over to O'Dowd's trailer and marches up the little stairs and knocks on the door, and just opens it. He says, look, I forget what his first name was.
Dots.
Dots. Yeah, that's right. He says, look, Dots. Yeah. And he's like, you need to get rid of that fucking fish boy. I don't care how you do it, but you were offered $6,000. And he's like, how do you know that? And he's like, look, it doesn't matter. I need you to get rid of that thing. Some shit might be going down. These guys out here, they need to take it off your hands. You got the $6,000, he turns towards you.
We got 2,000 waiting for us on the beach. The 6,000 has gone down the drain. That's because your buddy here is a shithead.
Anyways, they have a pretty protracted argument, and O'Dowd doesn't know what the fuck to do. I've got somebody from Ringling Brothers coming tonight. $2,000. What the hell? And they have a not, I'd say, knockdown drag out. They don't actually hit each other, but O'Dowd seems pretty fucking stubborn about not doing it.
If I have it on my person, I want to pull out the newspaper with the murder and show it to O'Dowd. Say, this is what happened to the person who sold it. If you don't find a way to conclude this now, you're not going to live to see that money.
He yanks it out of your hand, doesn't look at it, and he says to Nichols, he's like, I told you, we need to move farther inland.
It's not going to matter.
Yeah, at this point, it's too late for...
You're a public circus. They can follow you.
No.
At that point, Nichols is like, gentlemen, let me see if I can take care of this. And he sort of wants you to go away. You can hear them yelling and screaming in there.
I think we'll wave the other guys back to us at this point if they're somewhere nearby.
Well, Nichols has some self-preservation going for him, so maybe he'll win this.
I think he's workable. I think we got to make sure that Ringley Brothers thing just isn't even possible. We got to somehow cut that off and right at the pass.
Well, if we can get them out sooner than later, that won't even be an issue.
Yeah, the sooner we get
who's winning the argument right now? Let's sort
of. O'Dowd is extremely stubborn. So finally, after some serious yelling, Nichols comes barging out of the thing and just immediately turns and starts going back towards his trailer. If you guys try to say anything to him, he just says, I've got to get ready for the show. doesn't look like he won the fight. But there was a lot of, this is the end. I'm going to throw you out of the carnival as soon as we're done this season. That sort of shit. I guess Nichols is doing his best to, try.
Yeah.
And it's an hour till showtime?
Yeah, probably an hour left.
Okay, let's keep an eye out for the Ringling guy and sabotage that. But
Yeah.
did Marsh threaten something tonight if we didn't do something tonight? Is that what
He
the
not
impression I
only
got?
possibly threatened tonight, but he also even threatened there might be other externals getting involved.
Oh,
I think we should tell him about the threat Marsh has made. We know who Marsh is. He knows who Marsh is.
Rowan,
He
that
wants to
guy's
go.
insane with greed, right? He's not gonna.
He wants to go inland. He knows he needs to get away from the marshes or he's in trouble.
I have
We just tell him tonight's the night. You either take the $2,000 or you're done.
What if we don't tell him directly, but we write a threat to make it seem like Marsh has threatened him directly?
Yeah,
Marsh
he's
has
scared of
threatened him
Marsh.
through
Yeah,
us.
he's not scared of Marsh. This man is nuts.
I don't know. I think just
Okay, how about this? We bribe his employees. We take the boy, but we leave a letter to indicate that we've taken him, so he follows us because he wants to keep the boy. And we set up the rendezvous at that beach with him in tow. If they want him there, we just say, "Hey, we've got him. We're going this way. If you want to keep him, you got to follow us."
Yeah,
And-
that's something.
Everyone do a listen.
Oh, we might be out of time.
Yep. I never have
hard
a good
six.
listen.
Wait,
Yay.
hard success.
Regular.
Okay. Those of you who passed, it seems a little distant from the distance. And there's a lot of noise coming from, the people setting up the stuff and all that. But from somewhere over the dividing walls between you guys are in the personnel area, between you and the rest of the carnival, you hear a man screaming as if he is in agony. You then hear a couple of shouts, people yelling, and then gunshots. Bang, 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 bang. Everybody around you suddenly becomes alerted because they hear it too. Those of you who didn't pass, you hear that. It's just that you don't hear the man screaming at first, but you can definitely hear the guns going off. They sound like they're coming off from someplace over the wall in the middle of the carnival.
Let's get to O'Dowd's.
Even Nichols comes.
I'm running towards the gunshots.
Dude, don't run towards gunshots. Oh my God. Who does that?
So if you are looking at the map, you would want to run towards the employee entrance that goes to the menagerie. Okay. As you get there, and now some of the others have joined you. As you get there and you get through there, you see that over near the lion's cage, that the lion's cage has been open, and the man that you've come to know as, I didn't mention this before, as Clyde Court, the guy who sticks his head in the lion's mouth and tames it. He is lying on the ground. There is blood everywhere. And next to him on the ground is the lion, which has been shot at least 5 times. It looks, as you guys come running up, as if the lion was mauling him and tearing him to shreds.
Oof.
And he killed it in self-defense, or somebody else
It
shot
looks
it?
like somebody else shot, one of the roughnecks shot it, or
Okay.
roughnecks, roustabouts
Yeah.
shot it. Um,
And is
and
that's the only
immediately
line?
the carnies are, yeah, that's the only line. All of the carnies are immediately gathering there. But you can do a spot hidden.
We got ourselves a distraction. That's an 100.
Regular
That is
success.
regular as well.
Okay. Sounds like Arthur slips in the blood.
Yeah.
Oh no!
It's
Maybe over there puking a little.
it's nothing to lose your head over. It's,
Those of you who passed, however, notice that you think maybe over by the restrooms, running towards the exit, is a man in a long trench coat and a hat. You see him only as a glimpse, and then he is out the entrance. There's quite a hullabaloo as everybody is gathering around. Nichols comes over. He wants to know what happened. And we'll just say that one of the other carnies who happened to be there says that, the lion was just like a kitten, sweet, loved Mr. Court. But this time when he opened up the cage, that lion attacked him and started tearing him limb from limb. And it was all I could do to shoot it and keep it from rampaging through the rest of the carnival. Now, it might seem a little heartless, but Nichols is like, we have to clean this up and get ready for the show. The show has to go on. But dear God, somebody's going to pay for this. We got to find out what the hell happened.
this
This is the result of what's going on with O'Dowd and that boy. This is what we were warning you of. This is going to keep continuing. We didn't do it, but he's been warned.
You're telling this to Nichols?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He gets very angry and storms off. You don't know exactly where he's going. And I don't know if you'd say unceremoniously, but they get the guy's body and the lion, and they have to drag it out into the back, and do something. They might have to dig a hole or something to
Cover all the blood with dirt.
bury the man. Yeah, they've got enough sawdust and
mhm.
so
Yeah,
forth
yeah.
to clean it up. It's a terrible tragedy. Some of them are very upset. It's possible that the painted lady also might have considered him her boyfriend, so she's very upset. What do you guys want to do?
I think we go right to O'Dowd and tell him,
Why don't we, okay, so tell him as opposed to just going in there, bribing our way and grabbing the boy and leaving a note?
At this point, it's
Look, they want O'Dowd. The boy's
Yeah, but
not good enough.
he'll follow. He's so focused. He's so maniacal. We give him a route, he'll follow. So they'll get O'Dowd. We
So
just
we
have
could-
to point him in the right direction.
We can always split. Some of us grab the boy, some of us grab O'Dowd.
Okay.
I'm questioning why this Marsh fella wants all of us, plus Nichols, plus him, O'Dowd, at the same beach at the same time.
Nichols doesn't have to be there and we don't have to be there.
Well,
I think they said anybody who was involved. I think they're
Yeah,
trying to
but-
get rid of everyone who's involved.
We don't
Who knows
have
about
to
this?
be there. You don't have to be there, Doctor. I mean,
Yeah.
She doesn't. The only person that Marsh has talked to is me on the phone.
Look, if we think this is the right thing for that kid, then, I'll risk a little roughhousing to make sure he's okay. But, like I said, I still have doubts about those people. I mean, look what they just did to this poor innocent guy. Life, they take a life to try to save a life. That ain't right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's about the kid anymore. If we look at it, they're gonna keep killing people until they get what they want, if that's what we believe. So if we take the kid to the professor, they're just gonna kill the professor, and then
Yep.
we're back to square one. If we keep him, we're all at risk. So I think this might not be the best option for the kid, but I think it'll minimize the collateral.
Yeah. And as soon as we have the kid, if we let Marsh know, supposedly he'll stop doing whatever he's doing. He'll be there to meet us. So let's grab the kid and leave a note.
There's always the chance that if we get to that beach and get the kid into the water, maybe the kid will know what to do from there.
Possibly.
I was just thinking the outside of the tent is close to the perimeter of the carnival. I can just pull the car around.
Yep, that's right. Just pull it right up and we'll go out through the back of the tent.
I'll go run and do that now.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that works. All right, so you're going to pull that around to the south side over towards towards O'Dowd's World of Wonders.
Yes.
So the other four of you, where were you going?
Is there a tour going on at O'Dowd's right now?
No, Carnival's not open yet.
It hasn't opened yet. Well,
okay, now it's time to whip up the billfold.
It's probably about a half an hour before it opens.
Somebody must be manning the tent, though, or whatever, so we just have to bribe our way past them.
All right.
I think we just let's talk to the painted lady. I mean, she's upset enough about what happened, and if we say it's O'Dowd's fault, she might do it out of the goodness of her heart, but we got $5 we can give her. Come on.
Was there somebody watching O'Dowd's tent? Like, is there anybody there? Because they probably wouldn't.
No, it doesn't look like there's anybody there at the moment.
We could just go in.
Yeah, let's do it.
See what we see.
Bum rush it. Let's go.
Okay. I would like you. We'll say you get there. I would like you to do whoever has the lowest luck.
Oh no. See Arthur.
Arthur's not there. Arthur
went to get the car.
Oh yeah, we got rid of our lowest luck guy.
I spent a bit earlier. I'm down to 41.
Oh shit, so you're the lowest probably.
I have 34.
Oh, why, Henry? You spent so much. Why did you do that?
How about you, Enoch?
All right, here I go. I did not succeed.
Of course not.
So as you get inside, this kind of random. Let's see. You get inside, and at first it looks like nobody's there. And as you sort of, you got to kind of go around to get to that part of it. The little Russian fellow, who's not Russian, I don't have his name.
Was it Boris?
Anyway, Boris. No, Boris. Yeah, Boris.
Yeah.
Boris looks over at you and goes, "Hey, what the fuck you guys doing here?"
$10 says you didn't see us.
$10.
Yep.
Work it over.
There you go, buddy.
And he says, "What are you doing?"
Rescue.
Here's
another $10 if you watch our back and let us know if someone coming along.
He sort of follows along with you, and you see him go over to kind of a place where they store stuff, for
Mhm.
their stuff. And he goes, "Here, you're going to need these." And he pulls something out and throws it to you. And it's wire cutters.
Nice. Good
Thank
stuff,
you.
Boris.
Hey, Boris, we can't drop you off somewhere, can we?
Nah.
All right.
If nothing else, the painted lady's single now.
Oh, Jesus. Says her boyfriend just died. What's wrong with you? Even
Yeah.
I'm not that callous.
Yeah, man. There's a
Uh,
time and place for humor like that. What the heck?
All right. So you get over to where the fish boy is, and you can smell the horror from the South Pacific behind his tent. You can see the water ripples, as he's inside there. You start to clip the wire.
Yep.
Yeah, it's chicken wire, so it's not that hard to clip. You snip it around. You don't have to do the entire tank, but you've got enough of it where you can do it. You can hear Arthur pull up in his truck,
Mhm.
and we'll assume that you've got some sort of tank on the back.
Yeah.
Washed
Maybe
We
an
still got to
old-
get him from here to there, so someone will have to carry him and try
We'll
to
have
get
to
him.
wrap him in a lot of wet blankets and rush him as quickly as we can. All we can do.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll try to indicate with gestures. Take a big gulp of water, because you go. Whatever they fished you to hold their breath, I have no idea.
Okay.
Oh, we got to write the kidnapping notes for Dingus to come and follow us and make sure.
What if he gives it to the cops or something? I guess
He's not
can't-
going to do
he's
that.
not going to want to do that because he's already
No.
in.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering
So
if
tell me what your note says.
Well, I think the psychologist, you know this guy better. What's going to ding him to follow what we want him to do?
Yeah, I think you should mention that his chance of fame is gone, but he can still come out
Make-
ahead.
$2,000.
I mean, we don't even have to tell him that. It's
Yeah, still come out ahead. Sure. We won't
I
mention
wouldn't
the
say
amount.
$2,000.
You're
'cause then
right.
he can
Don't mention the
rationalize
amount
it,
because he
and then-
might think it's
yeah.
bigger. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, let him say that. Can I use psychology or psychoanalysis to come up with an angle that would be something that would trigger him?
I would say use psychology. Psychoanalysis is really trying to cure somebody.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah. So what I basically want to do is trigger him a little bit, hit him in a soft spot about maybe not being as famous as he
Greed.
thinks he should. Yeah, greed. Okay, greed. All right, let's do it. So I got 007, which is a extreme success.
Excellent. Okay. So you write him a letter, and I am going to do a 50-50 luck roll to see if ultimately he'll fall for it.
I'll
Okay.
pick it up. Yeah.
So he failed. So he's going to fall for it
Okay.
when the time comes.
Before we leave, would you guys think I'm totally crazy to go talk to the horror from the South Pacific? I just want to do a quick test to see if there is anything in there that.
If you want, just be quick about it. I mean, the
Okay.
thing is, if we think what's going to happen is going to happen, he's going to be a free man sooner than later.
Let's haul this boy and you can go talk to him while we're getting
Yeah,
him
we'll
in
haul the
tank.
boy while you talk to yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into the tank and in the trunk.
Interesting. I'm going to leave it. Remind me after we finish the game
Ooh.
about this moment. But
Okay.
I'm going to say that when you pull back the flap and you go into that area, he's exactly the way he was during the show. He is just mindless,
Out of his mind.
wild, insane man. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
if I hold the flashlight in front of him and kind of go across that, he tracks it, but he's very violent.
He jumps up on the bars and starts to go like this,
Yeah.
which makes a lot of noise.
Oh,
And
shit.
you're not sure that you want
Should
to
have done
make
that,
that much
maybe.
noise. But yeah, he's insane.
Oh, there's nothing that's significant. Years and years of barbaric electroshock therapy might not even be able to fix this.
Right. So getting the fish boy proves to be a little bit difficult because he's afraid of you.
We got those sardines and stuff.
I think that might work a little bit, but you start to realize that if perhaps Henry, especially since Henry seems to have some compassion for this little boy, that Henry is able to, with smiles and gestures, convince the boy, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to rescue you. And the result is the boy finally swims over and sort of leaps up onto Henry and wraps his arms around you like he's a little scared little boy. You also
Which he
notice at
is.
that point that his feet are really fins. He's the closest thing to what you would call a mermaid or a merman, except that he's got two legs. He's just got flippers on the end.
Isn't that the traditional mermaids actually do have two legs?
Yeah, it depends on the story that you're getting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, get him to the barrel. Get him so he can breathe.
Okay.
But you have to actually, maybe one of you has a pocket knife. You have to cut your way through the canvas to get out. And once you were out, Arthur is there and is ready with the tank.
Put him in the water.
And you load him into the water. And somebody probably needs to sit back there with him so that he
I
doesn't
will.
slosh
Henry,
out.
yeah.
I'll sit with him and
Henry.
hold his hand if he'll hold my hand.
Okay, he will. And then off you go.
But we will stop quickly at a phone to call Marsh and say, we're en route.
Okay.
Oh.
And the gentleman that you most want to meet will be following us. He's not with us, but he will be following.
A controlled stop, so not a quick stop.
Yeah. Controlled stop, quick conversation, then back in the truck.
Okay.
Off we go.
So off you go. You get to Arkham, you call Marsh, and then you head on over towards the coast. Probably takes you about an hour. It's exciting. The fish boy is swashing around in there. You have to make sure he stays in, but you eventually get to the area you think is correct. It's kind of a cliff that hangs over the beach down below, and so it's probably about 4:30. It's you're thinking in your minds, there's absolute knowledge that O'Dowd has found the note by now, possibly on his first show as he was leading people through the tent. To his horror, the fish boy is gone and the cage is open. He might freak out, stop the show, close it up, and hop in his car and start heading in this direction. Now, in the original story, this is supposed to take place at night, but we'll say that it takes place in the daytime. You get there, and you notice that just, maybe 100 feet down the coast on that cliff, you see a couple of big black 1920s cars that are parked there. And down on the beach, you can see a number of these fellows in their trench coats. You have to kind of climb down the hill, but you bring the fish boy with you. It does seem like he has difficulty out of water, but it's not like he's dying.
Okay. That's good.
So there's enough time where you can carry him down. You carry him down, and you head towards the three men who were there. At this point, they don't bother to try and hide their faces. You can definitely see, of the three of them, Jacob Marsh seems to be the least fish frog-like. The other two are pretty strong. He says, so you've rescued him for us. Good. And you say the other man is coming.
Yes.
He says,
He
good.
thinks he's going to get money, but whatever.
He
The
looks
other
at
one-
him. Yeah.
Well, sir, the other man wasn't so bad. He wanted to give him back. He was ready to end it. And the one named Nichols, he wanted no part of this.
I don't care about Nichols, but I want O'Dowd to
O'Dowd's your man.
apologize for what he did. And he turns to Henry and he says, now the child seems to have taken a liking to you, so you take him to the ocean.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he needs to get into water to breathe.
Yep.
You can do this, Henry.
Go on, Henry.
So, Henry,
Oliver, you're going to be okay.
Good night, Tim.
Henry, you walk down to the water, and considering the situation, and not just yourself in this, you wade into the water with your shoes on and your slacks, and you go ahead and you wade out until you are about at crotch level in the water. And I would like you to do a spot hidden roll.
That's a regular success.
Okay. You suddenly become aware as you're standing there that something is approaching you in the water. It's approaching rather swiftly. And there is suddenly an explosion of water right in front of you. And these two things come up out of the water. And if Marsh and his friends over there looked a little fishy, these things are hideous. They are fish frog things. They have huge mouths with multiple shark teeth and big, giant, bulbous sort of eyes. You can do a a sanity roll. They have huge, prodigious claws on their
Failed my
their
sand roll.
hands.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And they
Yeah.
have fins. You can do we'll say you do a 1d6 sanity. The
Oh.
rest of you also can.
That's 6.
Oh, good
Because
lord.
you see it. Oh, okay. Do an intelligence roll.
1d6, you said.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I succeeded.
Oh, you poor
Okay.
bastard.
Is
Oh,
it
and
go
it was
ahead.
two.
Go ahead and do a 1d8 for me.
Is it just one on a success?
1d4 on a
I
success.
call 24.
I rolled an 8.
Oh,
Yeah. All right.
Not the time to be rolling good.
So your immediate reaction to this is you want to fight. Okay.
Yeah.
You just
I
want to
still
start
don't think
swinging.
these things are trying to save Oliver. I think they want to eat him.
However, as you start, just raising your hands and start to swing, this one right in front of you reaches forward, grabs the child, and pulls it away from you. And as you move towards it, swinging your fist,
Oliver!
they just turn
Oliver!
quickly. They turn quickly, and they dive into the ocean and move swiftly away from you. The rest of you have seen all of this. and been affected by it. However, now you see that those things have left, and Henry's just standing there swinging his arms.
Oh, he's okay. Doc,
look
at Rowan.
And probably screaming, probably yelling.
Henry,
yeah.
calm down. It's Rowan. Come on, okay, take my hand. Someone hold my wallet for a second.
Yeah, I'll get it.
How could this beautiful boy be related to them? They took him from me.
Maybe these ones start more human and then move more fish as they get older. I don't know, but we're gonna have to have some talks ahead of us, Henry. Don't worry, we'll get you through. Oliver will be fine.
Yeah, he's a little crazed and wide-eyed and crazed.
Oh, I like it. That looks good.
Oh my God.
You gotta look. It's excellent.
Let's get you dried off, buddy.
Marsh and the others, they come over to you and they say, your part in this is over. You can leave. We'll take care of O'Dowd when he gets here.
Sounds good to us. Let's just go, gentlemen. We don't really want to stay around.
Oliver!
Come on, Henry. He's good. He's gone to his people or whatever. It's all good.
And we'll just say that as you get in your cars and you're driving away, you see O'Dowd in his car come the other direction and go past you a little too fast and reckless, and parks his car. And you can well imagine what they do to him when they get a hold of him.
They give him a stern talking.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was envisioning, that he's just going to get a long conversation.
There's probably not going to be a newspaper article about it.
No, of course not.
Not about this
and that is pretty much the end of our story.
Yay.
Oliver!
You guys did well. You rescued the little boy and you returned him to his family. So what was that I said when you went to
I went to the horror of the South Pacific.
Okay. I'll
Tom,
add that in.
Tom, I have a guess. Can I throw it out?
Go ahead.
So the reason that guy is the way he is he actually saw something that blew his sanity into ribbons, and that's why he's
he's basically drugged and
he is just what we thought.
And he is just a geek. What I could have done is that when you throwed, geez, my English is dead now. When you threw back the cloth, what you would have found was another one of the Marsh clan feeding something to the geek that would make him go stark raving mad, and then he would let him out and he would attack people at the carnival. So that was one of the things that didn't play out. So, all right. So in the original, and what took us so long was this actually plays out over the course of multiple nights. You're in Bolton, then you go to Aylesbury Pike, and by the time all of that is going on, progressively worse and worse things are going on at the carnival because the other members of Innsmouth, they are feeding a kind of berserk poison to various people. One of the clowns will go insane. The horses will go insane. The monkey will go insane and attack people. They'll start spreading this around, and they'll eventually convince O'Dowd that he has to give up the fish boy.
Is O'Dowd convincible? Is there leverage point? No, it's Nichols is convincible, but
he's going to continue to hold out for more money because he's incredibly greedy. Now, the Ringling Brothers fellow, he's due to show up, and he shows up right at 4, and he gets shown the fish boy, and he's really impressed. And so he's going to make O'Dowd an offer, but he at one point decides that he's going to go back into town and get lunch or get dinner.
Yeah.
And when he goes back into town, the Marsh family grabs him And it doesn't say exactly what happens to him, but he doesn't show up again until the next day. And he comes wandering into the carnival completely insane, wide-eyed, and like this. They took
One
him
of
to
those
Innsmouth
stern
and they
talking
exposed him
tos.
to things. Yeah.
Nice.
So all of those things will sort of happen and escalate each time because of O'Dowd's greed.
Wow.
Of course, if Nichols is involved, if you guys are involved, then they're going to tear you limb from limb once they get the baby back. If O'Dowd decides to just kill the kid and bury him, which he might do, it's going to be really bad. They're going to come and wipe the carnival out. If it's so funny because Mike, you kind of said it. If you had captured the or gotten the kid and given him to the scientist,
That would have been awful.
I mean, he would have done what he said at first and then vivisected the kid to see what he's like inside.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, he was, and he's not insane. He was just a fucking scientist.
Yeah,
Damn scientist.
Oh,
You got to vivisect him because it's just an animal, right?
Yep.
That's the thing, just an animal, and that's kind of almost the same way I was thinking that Marcius thought of the people at the zoo too. It's
and it would have been a horrible end, but it would have been horrible to think that you rescued him, gave him to the scientist, and then find out later, oh, he's right over here in the jars.
Yeah, a little bit on that shelf, a little bit on that shelf.
And of course, the scientist then would, of course, been torn limb from limb.
Yeah.
And found.
I took a chance on the scientist. I was bluffing that we knew more than we did, and it was interesting. I didn't totally expect the pressure point to be that like more people knew about it, but he was afraid that he had a scoop and that somebody else was going to beat him too.
Yeah, you want to be.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah.
Clicked. Yeah.
Oh, was the Dunwich thing a red herring, or was it actually?
That's a red herring.
It was a red herring.
But I loved it.
Same here. It was like, oh.
Tell me we took Donnie with us too.
Scooped him under our coat.
I could
also in this. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I considered trying to find a way to take the jar, like on my way out.
Could have taken the jar with you, but ew.
Yeah.
Give that to the scientist. Give that to the biologist to keep him busy for a while.
I, of course, added the whole thing about the Arcane Society, since in the original, it's just that you guys happened to go to the carnival.
Oh,
I wanted to give you a reason to go.
You know what? I think the Arcane Society works really well because it also gives us a reason to be persistent about it.
And
whereas
friends, it's a lot.
Oh, so was all the sisters' visions actually related, or was there some stuff that was just kind of off base there?
Well, I made that whole part of the scenario up, but they were seeing through the fish boy's eyes,
right?
And this whole world out here was something he'd never experienced. The colors were the colors of the tent, the strange, ugly human faces that were looking at him,
leering.
The noise of and it could have been calliopes, or it could have been just their talking and the general noise. He was terrified. He didn't know what he was experiencing.
Oh yeah.
And that's basically everything they were saying.
If he's like living underwater up to then, and then suddenly you don't have the filter of water in your ears,
right?
Everything. Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah, I made up the lines. He says, she says, it's like a book in a foreign language. You can see it, but you can't really describe what it is that's there. And if I was running this the long version, I would have left it there, and you guys would have had to have done research, and then somebody would have noticed the circus poster, and that started 2 days ago. And sort of make the conclusion yourselves. And of course, you could have gotten to know all of these people, which would make, it's literally has so many people being murdered and killed.
Oh yeah,
by being drugged.
We get to meet them and
Um,
enjoy them, and then they get killed or murdered. So that would be perfect.
until it resolves, right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. And then there were subplots about, like I say, somebody got my sister pregnant and all of that sort of stuff. With the roustabouts having to beat up the teenage boys, and
It was Boris. Sure, it was
Boris got the pregnant.
yeah. So that's
Oh, very good.
That was fun,
Thank you.
Tom. That was
Oh,
fun.
so good.
and we
Yeah,
brought it
it-
down just before 4 hours. So
Yes,
Yeah,
we
you
did it.
You did it.
Ah.
I think this will be a good one for the con.
Well, let me go ahead and finish. We can talk a little bit more afterwards.
Okay.
Our players included Chance Wooten, Mike McKinn, Steve Anderson, Sawyer Hill, and Troy Lehman, with yours truly as a keeper of arcane lore. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for this show is provided by our patrons, who are listed in the closing credits. If you would like to show us your appreciation, please visit our Patreon page, or you can use the thanks button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.